Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at nbnrpodcast.com.
We have a saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Otter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know, what you just did? You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Heck on it, Muhammad!
GBR. Kyle?
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, my man.
Hey, you too, brother.
Nice tripod, brother.
Thank you.
Nice tripod.
Go big red indeed. No block, no rock. With Where's the Line? What's up, fellas? All the way down on the other end of the table.
We're here.
I got my binoculars on. I can barely see you.
Hey, Jared fought through a lot. Jared fought through a lot this morning to be here.
Yeah, Jabron is feeling himself today. Let's just put it that way.
Bustin' went a little late last night, but we're here. No block, no rock. WTL. We're going to kill this.
Hey, that's a champ move.
Yeah.
We
That's
are.
the way it needs to go.
You sound gritty today.
Yeah. I had a long night last night.
He's channeling a little bit of that Matt Rule voice.
That's the grit we're going to be bringing
Yes, sir.
here this morning. To the
Hopefully the team can bring the same kind of grit this afternoon. We are back at the Bauer Underground Tailgate for the second year in a row.
Yep. Shout out Bauer Underground.
Shout out.
Let's go.
And I got this sweet ass hat. So
Yeah, I got my hat right in front of me. These things are sick, dude.
For the people asking where we are, we're live on TikTok. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, I think. So anyone that's asking, the Bauer Underground Tailgate, if you go by the pedestrian bridge, you will hopefully see a huge freaking Bauer Underground sign.
you can't really miss it. So
Yep. We are in here. All right, fellas. I mean, listen, it's going to be a hot one today.
yeah. North end zone. I'm glad I got to keep my seats when they knock down south end zone, but it's going to be hot. It is going to be hotter than hell in there. So just get ready.
I'm hoping that. What?
No, you're good.
Sorry.
We're good.
I'm just hoping, fellas, I'm coming outside in the sun, a place that's not natural for me, especially when it's 94 degrees. I just want to see a good game, guys.
Just a good game.
Just give me a good game. Yeah, just like the Nebraska Brewing Company beer.
Oh, yeah.
Good game.
Hey, good game.
That's all I need, baby.
Good game.
All right, so where's the line?
Yes.
Now, what's this line looking like for this game? If you guys just want to go over the betting lines, anything that you guys want to point out.
Sure. So real quick, it was at 17, but it moved up to 18 this morning.
Oh, yeah.
It got bet down to 17, came out closer to open up at around 21 and a half, right?
Yeah.
Got bet down to 17 and got bet back up this morning to 18. That total, though, stayed pretty steady at 39 and a half. Last I looked, 39.
Yeah.
And I think what you're looking at there is a ball control offense with Michigan. They really like to pound the rock, and a really good rush defense with Nebraska. Let's give ourselves a little credit here.
Sure.
So that's why you're seeing a under 40 type of a total.
Now, in terms of the rush defense, guys, a lot has been made about, the opponents that they've faced so far. Not the greatest. You got teams in there that don't necessarily emphasize the run besides Minnesota. And if anything, I think Nebraska should get credit for forcing Minnesota to throw, what was it, almost 50 times in that game?
Yeah.
Right.
Just totally knocking them off their natural PJ Fleckness.
Yeah.
So I think they deserve credit for that. But what are you guys' thoughts on this rush defense? Are they going to be able to hold up today against Blake Corum and company? What do you think?
I think they're going to give Michigan all they can handle. I'll say that. I mean, they're going to give them the best test they've had by a long shot, and it will be a really good battle. And that's what I hope to see is Nebraska try to make them one-dimensional, get them out of their comfort zone, force them to pass the ball. And if we get to that point, I kind of like Nebraska's odds.
Ooh, wow.
For a win or for a cover?
We'll get to that.
The cover's a lock.
Yeah.
Cover's a lock. I definitely like our defense today. For sure, we're locked into that 18-point spread. The over-under is where it gets really tricky because if Nebraska's going to win this game, I think that under does have to hit. But that's for later as well. We're going to get into that with our segment for sure.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
And I know we're kind of jumping around a little bit. I'm just reading comments.
Yeah.
Are we jumping around? Are you mentioning the song playing in the background here?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Someone got to read their name. JCav says, if Heinrich Harburg does the unthinkable, delay the stadium renovation and build that legend a statue.
Yeah. Right next to Brooke. Next to Brooke. It's going to be Harbaugh. Yep.
You guys are big on sound bites and all that,
Yeah.
for your intro.
We're simple.
Your cut ups and everything. Harbaugh is going to get Harburg.
Oh,
love
my
that.
God.
There you
Yikes.
Love that.
So, you guys, what would that statue even look like? Him not pitching?
Oh, it'd be him lowering his shoulder or something.
Yeah.
How about this? 4 touchdowns and 0 picks.
Let's go.
How about it looks like that? 0.
Okay, guys,
Zero.
let's go. Let's get into Double H here, guys.
Yeah.
Now, he is starting, as if there was really any doubt, and there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let's just ask that. Should Sims start?
Go to the WTL guys first.
Crickets or what?
Yeah, no. That's just so tough because the upside is there with Jeff Sims, obviously, but I think he's played well enough in the last 2 games that you have to start him. There's no question that he needs to start. The turnovers with Jeff Sims is just too much of a question mark that he can't play. And with him being injured, that totally boxes him out.
Yeah, you'd be putting Sims in a bad spot there,
for
just
sure,
like we
for
used
sure.
to put Taylor Martinez, even Adrian Martinez. Hey, you're banged up, you're hurt, you got your jaw wired shut. Get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do that to this guy, especially early in the season?
for sure.
And let's not overthink it. One guy started 2 games, maybe better competition, but they're losses. Another guy started 2 games, and they were wins. Let's ride the hot hand. Let's go with the guy that's got a couple wins under his belt.
And honestly, it's not even necessarily about the fact that you won or lost. It's just Harburg, and he's had brushes with mistakes.
Yeah.
But ultimately, not turning the ball over.
Yes.
And which is just the most basic component of quarterbacking. Do not give the other team the damn ball.
No, I think basic component would be just handling the snap. I think he's able to handle the snap. So check.
There you go.
Kyle and I talked about this on the drive here today about how, I talked about Harburg is a medium risk, medium reward guy. And Sims is very high risk, high reward. I think he has a very high ceiling, but his floor is so low.
It's in the basement.
Yeah.
It's hell.
It's 0-2. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like that's his floor.
Listen, that's not the floor. I think it could be worse than 0-2.
But I'm just saying, we've seen the floor so far. It's a loss, another loss, another loss, another loss.
And Kyle mentioned, I think, on the episode this last week, what can Jeff Sims do that Heinrich Harburg can't? I mean, we saw last week, if that first touchdown run doesn't come back, Heinrich Harburg has nearly a 200 rushing yard game, if not more than. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we're going to talk about Jeff Sims being this mobile quarterback, is Harburg not? I think you'd be hard-pressed to say he isn't.
And just with the fact that Sims is hobbled, you're literally taking away the one
upside.
strength he has.
The upside, yeah.
Like, let's just be honest here. Like, you think back to the Minnesota game and Jeff Sims' throwing performance, 3 interceptions, the botched trick play, which probably shouldn't have worked. And then you think back to Colorado, the interception when he's rolling out to the right.
The 9 fumbles.
I'm just talking about the throwing.
The drop snap. Snap.
I just mean like the throwing, because if he can't throw and he's hobbled,
right,
then what are we doing here?
And that's a big kicker for me, Jared. I don't want to see a guy get put out there in a tough situation where he's not 100%. Like, you're setting him up for failure, like we've seen with so many good quarterbacks that have come through. Blaney era, Scott Frost era. Why do that to a young man, especially if you brought him in like we did? We're trying to prop him up for success. I don't like it that if he's hurt, don't force it, especially if we have Harburg, who's doing good. We dive into the numbers quite a bit, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So you talk about the rushing versus the passing with Harburg. Through 2 games, he has 278 yards through the air, 272 yards on the ground. So, I mean, you want to talk about a dual threat? There it is, right there. I like that going into this game.
I'm salivating right now.
Let's go.
And salivating is probably the politically correct way of saying other things. But yeah, in terms of just setting up Jeff Sims for success, I'm a big component or a big, advocate, a big advocate of just like the mental aspect of playing for Nebraska. And if you're just put in a crappy spot by your coaches, you're going to deteriorate mentally. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, guys just making mistakes that are just like mind blowing. And I think playing at Nebraska is just, it's so hard. And you got everyone watching your every move.
It's a fishbowl.
And you're limping around out there and you're like, Coach, why am I out here? I'm throwing a pick. People are kind of booing me. This kind of sucks.
Yeah, but this is the stage that these guys want to be on. I mean, we're no different than the other ranked 25 teams across the nation, where we want to be, where we're trying to be. That's where it needs to be. Like, it needs to be a fishbowl. There needs to be pressure. There needs to be an expectation that complete the passes. Don't fumble the ball. Like, these aren't big extravagant things that I am demanding from these guys.
Exactly.
They got the talent. They got the speed. All those things, they're there. We just, we're asking for the bare minimum right now, and that could generate a victory here this afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. I can hear myself again. I couldn't hear myself for a second.
You're good.
Okay. You guys want to touch on Harburg at all anymore?
I want to ask this question. If Harburg gets banged up in this game, who goes in the game? Does Chubba go in the game or does Jeff Sims go in the game?
Probably Jeff Sims.
I would like to see Chubba, but it's going to be Jeff Sims.
It's going to be Jeff Sims for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw last week.
So
when he turned around and the guy wasn't there and then he had to run.
I don't think Purdy's helmet made the trip to the stadium.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
I'm much on the other side of the fence. I think Chubba Purdy comes in the game.
Oh.
The way that Jeff Sims
now.
Okay, there we go. I think we're back. Sorry, we lost a little power here at the Bauer Underground Tailgate, but we are back. So going back into that?
Yeah, we ended with Mike saying that Chubba should start, right?
No, I don't know where we ended it. I asked the question. I said, if Harburg were to get banged up in this game, who comes in the game? And it was a majority would say Jeff Sims would come in the game.
Majority, you mean everyone?
Everybody but me. I think that given the way that Jeff Sims looked last week, he was very gimpy on that foot. I'm just telling you, is a 70% Jeff Sims better than a 100% Chubba Purdy?
No. So here is the difference in the question. The initial question was who comes into the game, not who we want in the game. I said I would like to see Chubba, but it's going to be Sims.
I think it will be Chubba.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
I just think Sims is Rule's guy, and he wants him out there. So I just don't think Purdy's going to get the chance, even though he probably should be the next progression if that happens. But I really think Sims is coming in for sure.
Okay. Yeah, drop it in the chat,
Jeff
guys.
Sims today. I really do think we'll see Jeff.
My opinion on the quarterback, you are not going to win any football games with 3 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
And, Andy, you brought up the position of Jeff started against better competition, but for a program that has lost to Northern Illinois and Georgia Southern in the last few years, I don't think you can overlook anything as far as the competition is concerned.
Absolutely not.
So, yeah, that's kind of my position on it.
People look at the schedule and they see Nebraska and they say, win.
That's a gettable game. That's a winnable game.
Yeah.
Winnable game.
Well, and again, we talk about, going up against better competition in Minnesota and Colorado. We're playing Michigan today, guys. This is the number 2 team in the country.
So
if you want to talk about better competition, this is it. And we've seen Sims against Minnesota. We've seen him against Colorado, and he struggled in those games.
And
do we trust him against Michigan?
And don't get it twisted. So, I do a lot of high school broadcasting, especially in the Tri-City areas. So I've had the fortune to do a couple Kearney Catholic games. Harburg is the real deal. He's a superb athlete. I guess they were doing a little shoot around last year during the offseason. He was doing 360 dunks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
This
Harburg
guy is
dunk.
for real. So I don't want this picture to be painted that we're taking this huge step down. Maybe as far as experience goes, a little bit of a step down, but as far as athleticism, don't lift your nose at Harburg here. I'm telling you.
No, and if he can protect the football, give me Harburg all day long.
Dude, and I'll just go back to the mental component of the game. You watch Harburg quarterback the team. It just looks different. It looks like he has command.
Yeah.
And honestly, if we're thinking about Chubba, and I know Mike's a big Chubba guy, he's got a chub for Chubba.
Oh,
you look at his eyes. You look at his eyes, man, and he looks like me out there, like kind of shell shocked, like, oh.
Have you been out there?
No. But I'm telling you, if I was out there, I would look exactly like Chubba Purdy looks.
Wow.
That is a bold statement.
All right. And I mean, like, eyes big and like, uh-oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are at a transition period here,
Yes.
10-16.
This is a fluid show.
I know we're working on some speaker situations over here. We're good to go. All right.
You know, real quick, guys.
Yeah.
We know that we have another show that has to take a backseat to our show just right down the way, right?
Yep, exactly.
And Portnoy came out and he, had that little T-shirt using the M word, mediocre. What did he say?
Mediocre.
Make Nebraska mediocre
again. I mean, that's the M word. We don't want to hear that. But he was real sly about it, really kind of cool, kind of fun, kind of nice.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to roll out the red carpet. We're in Nebraska, right? So we're going to be above it.
Sure.
And they've been going through some things over there at Barstool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Us being a sports betting podcast, helping people out with those type of issues. We got a T-shirt that we're going to help out with those guys.
Oh,
we got one. Hit us up in the DM if you want one of these.
Oh, I love it. He's taking it off.
Shit. Make Barstool profitable again.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that's incredible.
There we go, guys.
Oh,
Hey, we're just trying to help out.
Yeah,
Dave's
just
a good
trying to help.
guy.
I
We
love
appreciate them being here.
Hey,
So we're just doing our part, just like he was trying to do his part and help us out.
Right.
We're just helping him right back.
Hey, we love it.
so Dave Portnoy, I know you're listening right now. If you'd like to come defend yourself on air, we've got a seat for you.
Yeah.
We got a seat.
Yeah, he's down the road a little bit. It's not too far of a walk. Probably like 13 minutes if you want to come over here.
Yeah.
Defend himself. We're just being Nebraska nice. We're just helping him out like he was helping us out.
Yeah.
Where's that WTL merch tent at, man?
Dude.
I didn't know you were gonna whip that out.
You should have a tent right next to the Barstool tailgate. I guarantee you could sell a couple of those.
Oh, yeah.
That is an incredible shirt.
Fantastic.
No, that's really good. I did not expect that.
We're
I'm
setting
kind of
up for
impressed.
We're
actually.
setting up for an incredible show. We had to bring it. That's what we're doing here.
I love it.
I love it so much.
Good stuff.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll have on for the No Block No Rock podcast live show. We're going to have on Tanner Wooten, part of Blue by 90. He's all the way here from Ann Arbor, Michigan, to help us preview this game. So we'll have him hop up and
With this blue polo
we'll get this
on,
thing rolling. It's a fluid show, guys.
that yellow M.
Yeah. Make sure you guys boo him, everybody.
Yeah. No, we promised we'd be nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Tanner's a nice guy.
Hey, he went to high school in Nebraska, and he knows all about it.
Yeah, he's got
I won a
redeeming
state
factors.
championship just down the road over here, 2011 Class B Elkhorn Antlers, dog. Come
There
on.
you go.
There you go.
Shout out Elkhorn Antlers football right there, baby.
So Tanner, I see a guy over there. He's grilling. He's got a T-shirt on that says "Make Michigan our Bitchigan."
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Your thoughts?
When did that ever happen in the first place? Again,
2005 Alamo Bowl.
I
1995.
should have pitched it to Steve Breston. I think about that once a week. That one still lives in my nightmares.
Yeah, I respect the.
That shirt is fantastic, sir.
That's our man.
Go Big Red.
How far the mighty have fallen at the 2005 Alamo Bowl
Yeah.
is the standard.
You didn't score on after 30 laterals. Ha ha.
Sucker.
You might as well have the bands on the field. That was like Al Stanford back then.
Okay. Oh God, we got a heckler in the house here. Mike needs another beer.
Stage work, man. I'm not a comedian. I
Hey,
don't know how to do
no.
that.
None
Tanner's
of
a
us are.
nice guy. He just makes poor choices. I love you.
I lived here
love
for
it.
10 years. These boys have been awesome, though. We were on the show Wednesday. Myself and Justin Rowe had a great time.
That works too. Whatever.
We got free beer here.
Yeah.
You got everything you need.
Yeah, shout out to Bauer Underground for hosting the best tailgate in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Shout out.
Woo!
Bauer.
And the sweet ass hats.
So Tanner, I had made a video this morning talking about how if Matt Rule could have his druthers, he would model his program after Jim Harbaugh's Michigan program. Your
You said
thoughts?
that in the press conferences. Yeah, I mean, you think about Michigan and the hurdles that they faced in the early part of the Harbaugh era of beating Ohio State, and they tried to do it with athletes, and they tried to do it with running man coverage all game under Don Brown. And, after that 2020 season was a big disappointment, they really reshuffled the staff. Jim Harbaugh has always been good at hiring good assistants and has an eye for talent in the coaching ranks, but I think when you look at what Michigan did, everybody zigged and Michigan zagged, right? Like, we're going to run the ball. We're going to be hard-nosed. We're going to be physical as hell. And we're going to make you beat us, incrementally. We're not going to give up the big plays like they did early in the Harbaugh era when those, it was 18-19, like they just couldn't stop the ball. They couldn't stop Ohio State, and so they've really kind of transitioned their program to just be Stanford again.
Yeah,
which is what I thought would happen when he got hired on in 15. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to build a program, especially when you look at developing offensive linemen. Obviously, that takes a lot of time. Like if you look at where Michigan was after Brady Hoke, and they had a lot of offensive linemen that were highly ranked, but they flamed out. And it took Michigan a long time to get to a point where they've got a dominant offensive line. It all starts in the trenches. So that's how you should build a football team. I want to see Matt Rule do it. I mean, my wife's a Nebraska grad, so I root for the Huskers. She's in the crowd. Woo! So I converted her to a Michigan fan except for this game. So,
fine.
But I want to see the Huskers do good, man. I got a lot of friends who are Nebraska fans, obviously, so I want to see them come back, and, it's more fun when they're good, and I want this game to be competitive. I mean, we got 18 teams in the Big Ten next year, so who the hell knows when we're going to play again, but I want to see this game mean something.
Yeah, I mean, I love that sentiment because, like, my cousin is a huge Oklahoma fan, and he says the exact same thing. He's like, look, when Nebraska's competitive and we can go and we can play Nebraska, like, it's so much more fun than, Oklahoma coming in and just absolutely blowing the doors off. And, like, college football is more fun when Nebraska is good.
Blue Bloods in general.
Yeah,
when Blue Bloods are good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you talk about Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh has been successful at every level, everywhere he's been, and he has not changed his identity one time.
No.
He is Jim Harbaugh, and he will not change his identity.
Unapologetic.
Power run. Yeah,
himself,
100%.
And doesn't give it, like, this whole NCAA stuff, like, tell him to shove it, basically, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's who he
Cheeseburger
is.
Gate, baby.
Brown Jug, great burgers in Ann Arbor. I've been there a couple times. It's not a bad place. Yeah, I mean, he just is who he is, and we've come to accept that. And, there's some times where you don't maybe agree with everything that he does, but he's a guy who sticks to his beliefs. He sticks to what he knows, and, comes from a great football family. Obviously, his brother, his dad, all great coaches. So, having that, and his son is an awesome coach too. He'll be a head coach someday. So, having Jim Harbaugh has been one of the best things that happened to Michigan in the last, 2 decades of Michigan football. So we're very lucky to have him. And I think Rule, kind of similar, right? I mean, didn't have the success in the NFL that Harbaugh had, but he's a guy who's taken over, a couple bad programs and turned it around relatively quickly. And, it was always that year one, that year zero, I guess, was always tough, right? So I think that's where Nebraska's at this year. But I think with the portal, I think they're going to be able to go and get some guys. And I know he's kind of talked – I'm curious. I mean, he's talked about, he was on Bustin' with the Boys and talked about, not going in the portal as much. But I think you kind of have to. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? And what's your outlook over, the next, 6 to 12 months of Nebraska football and getting back to a point where you're competitive in most games?
I think you're absolutely correct in the fact that you have to go in the portal.
Yeah.
Like it is not really an option anymore. It's something you have to do. But I mean, we see a lot of teams, most notably one that I will not mention, beat us in week 2. That is relying on the portal to build a team. And I think the portal should be used as a supplement, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You don't build through a portal. You supplement an existing roster.
Yeah.
And I think Matt Rule really has that kind of mindset where, we're going to go there, but it's not where what we want to rely on.
I think it certainly depends on the position too. I mean, if you're trying to build an O-line, you want guys that you want and that you're invested in, and they've been in your program for 2.5, 3 years underneath your system, underneath your strength staff and all that. I mean, you see Nebraska poach the portal for guys like Toure and Trey Palmer. That worked out, but it was the trenches. I mean, name a notable O-line transfer that we've gotten.
Nori.
I mean, Ben Scott.
Nori and Ben Scott. And if we would have had Walter Rouse, I think we probably wouldn't have lost a game yet this year because our left tackle is the worst in football. So
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
And I'm just saying.
I think that opens up kind of a discussion about Nebraska's NIL setup. Maybe, I don't know, I'm kind of looking at it kind of sideways. Like, is it really as good as everybody's saying it is? We don't need to make that a huge discussion, but it's probably not as good as people say it is. But I would just say to your portal question, your O-line, which is the most important part of the team, recruit those guys, build them up over 3 years, and roll with it.
I think if you look at Michigan last year, they had, the best offensive line in the country, and they had a transfer at center, Olu Olatimi, absolute monster. Won the Outland, won the Remington. Shout out Dave Remington.
Dave Remington.
But they had 4 guys that were, signed out of high school. And so you look at Colorado and the issues that they've had in the O-line. Like, I think they're all transfer guys. Like, you can't build an O-line in the portal.
No.
You can, like you said, you can supplement. But you look at Michigan State, and I'm not going to pile on them, but Mel Tucker,
Pile
baby.
on 'em.
You know you wanna.
With cause.
They said Tuck was coming. I didn't know they meant it that way.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I might get flamed for that one.
No, you'll be all right.
Maybe Michigan State fans. I don't know if they're listening to the Nebraska podcast.
I doubt
it. I think when you look at what Mel Tucker tried to replicate in the portal with Kidd and Kenneth Walker, like you can't continually take 30 guys in the portal and hope that it works out, right? Like you have to be able to recruit out of high school, have them go through your strength and conditioning program, have them be in spring practice, summer workouts, fall camp, bowl practices. You have to be able to build them up, especially in the trenches. Like you can't, I mean, you can, like you said, you can supplement, but you can't just build everything. So
Yeah.
They are your foundation.
You mentioned
Speaking of pipeline,
Oh, jeez.
we have a former member of the Nebraska football pipeline.
You're not even giving him a chance to warm up. He's just hopping in,
Absolutely
baby.
not. He doesn't need warm up.
Let me just hunch over some
Stretch out a little
Sorry,
bit.
well, you know what?
It
It is what it is.
really. So you mentioned that Colorado offensive line. They have allowed 25, 26 sacks on the season already. That's not a great sign. And again, going through the portal for those like key positions just isn't going to work.
no, and I mean, offensive line is so much more than just individual talent. Like you want guys that can gel together. Your best five may not be the best five individually talented guys. It may be the guys that play the best together. Right,
Yeah.
because you need to be able to know what your guard's doing as a center. You need to be able to, as a guard, know what your tackle's doing. Like you need to be able to play off of each other, know that feel certain things of like, I need to get to the backer now. Like I know what he's going to do. You need down block. Like obviously you have play calls, but you need to be able to feel within the game. And I don't think Colorado's got that. So like you said, it's supplemental. Like it can't just be it can't be the end all be all. You're not going to win that way.
Yeah. So Sam, we got Big Daddy Sam Hahn on here now. Dad
Hey, shout out to Dad Honey up in the tailgate.
Lawnmower shoes on.
So
That's right.
talking about
Green stains on the shoes.
Will Compton. I hope I find it today.
Yeah. Talking about chemistry on that line, like how important is that to you? Like, can you really build a successful O line or D line out of the transfer portal?
I mean, I don't think you can build a successful team all out of the transfer portal. Like, it helps, but I mean, you obviously can go there for some key needs. But like, I mean, you're not gonna have a great team if it's all transfer portal guys. And just going back to what you said about like playing well together, that doesn't happen overnight. It takes reps. So you can have some guys who don't necessarily play that well together, working off each other, but sometimes they'll find that over time. So I guess that's my thoughts on that. I'm still catching my breath over here. This is like Fort Knox getting in this place.
Oh yeah.
I came from the other side of the Lincoln Bridge, and then I tried to come down. I'm like, oh my god, I got to go all the way around. So
That's a big boy walking around in that 90 degree heat, baby.
man, I'm sure people had a laugh as I was coming.
Hey, can we talk about the weather?
I know.
I have one thing to say. What the fuck?
I know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Next
sucks.
week is 55 degrees.
it's
Today-
California, baby. Welcome.
Today's 93. I'm nervous about the conditioning because I've lived in Omaha for 10 years, and I lived in Ann Arbor the last 2 now, and I grew up in Michigan. Like yesterday when it was 94, that's the hottest weather I've experienced since I moved. So I don't know if Michigan's it's a lot of 80-degree days, but I know here in the summer, especially during fall camp, it gets hot, man. So I think Nebraska may have an edge there with just the conditioning part of things. Because Michigan hasn't faced this level of weather, especially the last day of September, man. Like next weekend's 55, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I wanted to wear a hoodie.
So you're calling a Nebraska win, is what I'm hearing.
No, but I may pass out. I drank 2 Pedialytes on the way here to be prepared. So.
Hey,
Wow.
Smart man.
Damn, you're gonna have a rough time when you go out to Los Angeles if you have a September game in Los Angeles. It's gonna be tough. So basically, what you're saying is Michigan's done for once UCLA and USC get in because
They got
the
to come to
weather's
big
close.
house in November too. though.
They can thank us for prepping
I don't
them for
you
those
guys were
California
in Ann
schools.
Arbor last year, man. It was cold.
It was cold.
Snowing.
Claudia and I took a picture in the stadium, man. Her face was as red as her hoodie. I mean, she was cold. She looked like Rudolph out there. She's not paying attention. She might kill me if she heard this, but it was cold. So they gotta come to Ann Arbor. They gotta come to Lincoln in November, man. They gotta go to I guess Columbus, Happy Valley. Like it gets cold. So I'd love to see those guys playing 80-degree weather all year round. Come into Big Ten country in late November and see how they fare too. So it's a 2-way street, I guess.
Yeah. Just talking more about Michigan and Harbaugh being unapologetically Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
It's just I'm watching them play Rutgers last week.
Yeah.
Rutgers gets off to that 7-0 lead. Twitter blows up. Oh my God, Rutgers is going to do it. What's Michigan doing? And I'm seriously just watching that game going, what are you guys talking about? They got this is Harbaugh. He's comfortable. This team knows who they are. They play with an assurance of themselves. Like there's no worry. Rutgers is like a fly.
Yeah, it was. I was in the stadium. That touchdown came to me in the end zone. I was like, "Damn, that's really annoying."
It's annoying.
I was like, "Oh, I gotta read Michigan fans complain on Twitter now that they didn't win by 60."
Oh god.
But like we talked about earlier in the week, man, like Michigan, they're not concerned with being sexy or flashy and putting up 60 points. Like they're perfectly content having against Rutgers they had 7 drives. They went 3 and out, and then they didn't punt after that. So it was like touchdown, missed field goal on a terrible delay of game where he made it and they brought it back, and then touchdown and field goal, touchdown, pick 6, touchdown. Like they were very content with just being themselves, running the ball. They got the ball with 7 minutes left in that game and ran 10 straight run plays, basically 10 straight dives, and just ate the clock. So
beautiful.
Michigan's not going to be a team that needs to run up the score to feel good about themselves, and they haven't had the explosives so far this year. Last year they were very explosive, like not through the air necessarily, except against Ohio State. But they were getting a lot of chunk runs from Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, and Corum has looked really good coming off the injury, but Edwards has been a little rusty. He didn't participate much in fall camp. He was banged up, so I'm hoping to see him get more involved in the pass game and in the run game. But yeah, Michigan, Joel Klatt talked about it this week. He called him a boa constrictor, man. Once they get their grip on you, it's over. Like they are content grinding it out, winning 30-10 or 31-10 or whatever it is. So, a lot of people are like, oh, Michigan doesn't look that impressive. And it's like, if you look at the advanced stats, they're the number 1 team in SP+, which is a really good indicator that they're playing really good football. They had the number 1 defense on that metric. They're number 1 in net points per drive, which we talked about on the show. It's not opponent adjusted. It's not as good of a stat as you look at the NFL, but it's a really good indicator that they're having success down to down. They're just taking 8 minutes to score.
And the thing about Michigan is, especially for like their defense is their defense, but if you look at their offense and you just see and you look at the numbers, oh, it's very unimpressive. But again, they know who they are, and you really dig deep into the stats, and it's just like, yeah, this is one of the better offenses in the top probably 20 at least.
They're just not getting the big explosive plays at the moment. Roman Wilson's their wide receiver 1. He kind of reminds me of Chris Olave, and I don't know what his stats would be if Michigan's throwing it 40 times like Ohio State does, but he reminds me of that very fast slot receiver, great hands, good route runner, and he's just so damn fast that he's blowing by guys. So he's been the number 1 target, and he's really good, especially when they play teams that run zone. He's good at finding spots in the middle, and McCarthy's really good over the middle. So the one thing from this offense that I want to continue to see is the offensive line improve, the run game improve, but I would like to see more explosives through the air, because I think that's going to be a difference maker if they're trying to win a national championship like we all want to see.
So that leads perfectly into my next question. We talked about this a little bit before the show. Nebraska currently ranked the number 1 rush defense in the nation. We talked about the competition they played. Do you see that being a factor in the game plan for this game? Do you see Michigan going to the air just a little bit more?
Potentially. It's pretty damn windy, though. I know Memorial Stadium's pretty tall, but it's pretty windy. The gusts are going to be 30 miles an hour today, but McCarthy's got a pretty strong arm. I mean, he's not afraid to kind of fire it in there. So, I think they're going to continue to get him, more throws and just more reps, because we talked about it on the previous show, man. I think this will be his 17th start, and he's a true junior. It's not like he's played a good amount of football and he's been very good, but it's not like he's a 5-year veteran or anything. It's not like he's Sam Hartman, right? So there's a lot of things that he's continuing to work on and continue to get better at, and we'll need to continue to see just from schematic standpoints. But I think more importantly, they're going to get him involved in the run game. That we talked about TCU in that 3-3-5, and it gave Michigan fits. Until they started to incorporate his running outside is when they really started to bring that game back, and it was a very close game, and they were down 41-38 early in the fourth quarter. So I think with this defense, they're very aggressive. They may show pressure and then drop back, and they're going to try to be creative. So I think you can't just run Blake Corum up the middle 30 times, right? You got to be able to be creative and get outside. Let Donovan Edwards be part of the offense more. So I think you're going to see a lot of Edwards in the pass game. Last week they ran a double reverse flea flicker that was wide open for the tight end. So they've been more creative, and they're putting more stuff on film. And I think they're going to want to continue to show things on film that other teams are going to have to account for as they get to Penn State and Ohio State. Like, they want McCarthy's running to be in that offense, because that makes those linebackers hesitate. And that's been a big success big reason for the success the last year and a half is his running ability, because they didn't have that with McNamara.
Right.
McNamara's a statue, but McCarthy legitimately is a 4-5 guy. So I think you get him out on the edge, read that end, crashing down, and try to, win some of those schematic advantages from Michigan's standpoint.
So, Sam Hahn. Hello, sir.
Hey,
I didn't even know he was coming. 2013. You were a freshman
Sure. Yeah.
going to Ann Arbor, pulling out that win.
Yeah, that was big.
How did that feel back 10 years ago?
Well, I was at home.
Okay,
I
you
was-
didn't travel. Damn it!
Well, so
Jared.
I didn't. Shit. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
So, I mean, no, it was good. Vibes were high.
Yeah.
We team got back and stuff on Sunday, and we like they do now. We would practice on Sunday, and then Monday was the off day. Yeah, definitely good vibes, big time win. So that's all I can give you on that.
Like those Sunday practices, especially after a win, like talking about over Michigan, what were those practices like? Were they pretty intense? Were they everybody high vibes, like ready to rock? Like what were those like?
I would say I would never call a Sunday practice that intense. Maybe one after losing's intense. But
It was Bo, right?
Yeah, or I mean, just even with anyone, like even under Riley, like the first one you lose after like that, that's an intense practice. But then Sunday ones are nice. Guys just kind of get loose, get their body activated again, work the kinks out a little bit, and then you have Monday off for sure. So, I mean, yeah, anytime you get a win against, especially like a ranked conference opponent like that, it's huge.
I don't know if they were ranked. That was Brady Hoke.
Oh, yeah. They were
That was a
ranked the
rough
other
year.
day.
I remember.
Yeah, they weren't
that
ranked.
Was, that year?
They weren't ranked.
That would have been his
Michigan went
last
7
year.
and 6 that year.
Yeah, they weren't ranked. That was
Not a good
Tanner.
time for me.
it was a win in Ann Arbor. That's what it was,
That's-
baby.
It was. It was a football game played in Ann Arbor. Yes.
Hey, Sam, so talk about – so I wouldn't say the offensive line has played spectacular yet this year. Talk about, from a offensive lineman's perspective, what needs to happen in this game to give us a chance, guys.
We blocked in front of us.
Okay. Wow.
Good start.
He's dumbing it down for us. There you go.
Hashtag analysis. One of the big thing is, Michigan's D-line, you're not going to push them around. You're not going to get them moved downfield very well. Just, they're going to hold their space. So staying on guys while the running back can sneak by. I mean, sometimes it's just really that simple. The biggest thing for the Nebraska offensive line, it's going to end up being a great benefit for us, but it's also a super big challenge is the amount of different run looks we give. We run duo, we run option, we run
I'm good.
pin and pull, we run outside zone, we run inside zone, we run gap scheme. So, you have like 6-7 different runs you do. And so that's hard for a defense to prepare for because they don't necessarily, especially when you can do multiple of those runs out of the same formation. So it takes more for a defense to prepare for, but also as an offensive line, that's a lot of different blocks. So you're seeing a struggle. I mean, we're running the ball well right now. We haven't played that awesome run defenses, so we have to acknowledge that. But the different types of runs is very challenging for everyone to figure out, and it presents difficulties for an O-line. And I think as the season wears on and they get more comfortable doing all those things, I think we'll be a little bit happier. Pass blocking, we got to get better.
Yeah.
What?
Sam Hahn, do you think that you ever scored a 0.0? I know PFF was not a thing necessarily when you were playing, but do you think you ever scored a 0.0 pass block grade? What do you think?
I've never given up a sack, so.
That might do it.
Oh, is that real?
Yeah, it's real. The 3 or 4 that were really close. I mean, Tommy Armstrong was fast.
Right.
So, I mean,
Okay, you brought up a good point. Talk about a mobile quarterback and what he can do for an offensive line.
best friend.
Best friend?
If they have pocket presence.
Yeah.
I think Jeff struggled a little bit with that early in the season. He was super athletic, obviously, but and I said this to a couple of Corcoran sacks he gave up that game. It was like, that's on the quarterback, I mean, so that's the thing. I mean, just side note to PFF stuff isn't the best grading system in the
it's
world.
so off.
Yeah.
like last year, Trevor Keegan he graded worse than 12 combined Michigan State and Iowa offensive linemen, and he was like all Big Ten.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, and they've got like interns doing it, so it's good. It's good data, but they're not always consistent to your point.
Yeah,
So,
the PFF's a good thing. I think it's cool. It makes football better, but the grading at PFS.
Did you say 12 combined?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And they had a kid who probably could have won the Heisman if he doesn't get hurt. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and Michigan State and Iowa weren't great run blocking teams last year. So yeah, we take it with a grain of salt, man. Like that's what one of the shows we do for Blue by 90 is we break down the PFF numbers, man. And I just disagree a lot of the time. So to his point, it's not gospel, but it is important work that they're doing, I think. But it's tough because you may have 5 different people grading a game in a season, and they're not consistent with what they consider a success or plus or a minus. They also don't know the exact play that's being run, what the job of that offensive lineman or any of those players is. So I think on the skill players, it makes more sense, but on the O-line, that's tough, man, because I didn't play college football, but I can tell you being an offensive lineman is extremely tough. This guy obviously speaks to it more than me, but it's very complicated. There's a lot of intricacies that the regular person doesn't notice. So I think that it's a tough job. I sure as hell wouldn't want to be a PFF grader. But yeah, at this point, man, it's not always perfect.
Yeah, because like the best way to grade it is you have the play call on like you're grading the play as you have the play call. So like the grades in the O-line room matter. And then like someone who's like a more advanced offensive line, like there's O-line gurus on Twitter and stuff I follow, but like, they have a better idea. But back to the original point, 0.0 is not good.
Right.
0.0 is not good?
Traffic cone.
Less than ideal.
Yeah. It's not like golf, huh?
No.
You scored lower, right?
Well, so for this game, with the quarterback that is starting, Heinrich Harburg, even if it was Jeff Sims, either way, the passing ability leaves a lot to be desired either way. And so there's been a lot of talk about the option.
Wait, I saw a shirt out here recently.
What?
Said bring back option football or something like that. I wanted to point it out because it's an amazing shirt.
Well, I mean, it sure sounds like they are going to bring elements to this game.
As God intended.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There you go.
Football.
No, but see, whenever I call for more option, I get called an old dinosaur who lives in the
No,
past.
you called for Munkin.
That's
You
right.
said you were
Yeah.
hunking for Munkin.
Unapologetically.
A hunkin' for Munkin.
I'm so
Not the Georgia Munkin, the Army Munkin.
Yeah,
That's
you wanna
okay.
do that?
Army
Hey,
Munkin. Yeah.
hey, you're
Todd Munkin would be great. Jeff Munkin.
well. Come on,
It'll be Georgia Tech. Because if you ever go back away from it, Georgia Tech's a good example. I mean, they were good under
Paul Johnson. Yeah, they went away from it. Look what happened.
Now they've got their second head coach, and they got to recruit differently. They got to refill the offensive line room. You don't have 260-pound guards, right? So it's a transition.
So the point is, don't go away from it then.
Hey,
keep doing it.
Hey, is the 97 Nebraska football team the last team to win a national championship that ran the option?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean the undisputed 1997
Undisputed.
Nebraska.
That was the retirement gift for Tom Osborne, and I will die on that hill. I have a 97 national championship Michigan hat, and I didn't wear it today out of respect because I know what I'd be doing.
Okay,
I know I'd be stirring the pot.
Was it you that
Stir
said?
it then.
I know. I think it was Mike that tweeted about bringing the 30-year anniversary.
Dude, I love that. Let's talk about that.
Was it you that called it the Centrist Silver Bowl?
No, it's probably one of our Michigan fans because I know the Blue by 90 account retweeted it. I retweeted
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
I wanted to make that thing go viral.
For those that are unaware,
Yes.
Mike suggested in 2027, the 30-year anniversary of Nebraska getting the national championship and Michigan saying they were.
Yeah.
Bringing
poor
those two
Tanner.
teams together in 2027, suiting them up and let them play it out.
Strap
and see
it
who
up,
the real
baby.
national
Old
champion
men.
is.
Let's have 50-year-old men playing football.
I
I'm all for
texted
it.
Mike. I was like, I know Greasy was a starter, but Brady's probably more well equipped to handle it. He was on that team.
But remember, Brian Greasy, he set like a school record that year in passing. So like people are shitting on Brian Greasy, but he was the best option that
Ty
year.
Streets. I mean, that was a great team. I wish they would have played, but I would like to make the point that Michigan played 2 Big 12 opponents, and they did fare better than Nebraska did. Also, didn't need a kicked ball to win a game.
What did we do to Peyton Manning? I just want to know.
That's now.
What I want to ask you is,
I just want to know.
I would argue the kick ball at Mizzou was just destiny.
Destiny.
It was just meant to be.
Destiny's calling me.
I'm going to boil this down
So is the
to
Natty.
its simplest point. Is a win a win?
No, a win's a win.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Kick
it's
ball
unfortunate
regardless.
that
Win's a win.
the BCS didn't exist until '98. Man, that would have been a hell of a game. I was 2
I
years old,
agree.
so I wouldn't. It doesn't change my life at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when people make fun of Chris Webber for calling the timeout. Like, my mom was in high school. I wasn't born. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, but I care. I like to argue about it. But those were 2 great teams, man. And I know that I don't know. I mean, Glenn Steele on that D line. Steve Hutchinson was on that O line. John Jansen, like a lot of really good players on both sides. I don't know if your roster is low, but I know that was a damn fine team. Who was the quarterback on that team? You have to be
Scott
Frost.
Player Scott Frost.
He ended up becoming the former head coach Scott later on. So that does happen.
We can say his name as a player.
Okay. Sometimes it's not good to go home.
As a quarterback.
It worked out good for Jim, though.
As a quarterback, we love Scott Frost. I see a Scott Frost quarterback jersey out there.
Hey,
as a head coach.
Okay. So you compartmentalize that. I respect that.
Yeah, we do.
That's got the Big Ten logo. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it's like
It's not mesh.
Yeah.
That's not mesh.
Straight from China.
It's Luke McCaffrey.
DH Gate. Shout out DH Gate. Baby.
Yeah,
Yes,
DH Gate. Giving jerseys since 2017, baby. Let's go.
I ordered for one time. I got two. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Hey.
So I turned my $20 jerseys into $40 jerseys.
Hell yeah.
Hey, better than 60.
They fit like a youth large, though. You get a double XL. Them things are tight.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes the numbers come out lopsided and the lettering's all jacked up.
One of my boys, Sam, who went to UNL, he had a Allen Iverson jersey that had the Nike logo up top. It had the Reebok like stitching on the bottom, and then in the tag it was Adidas, man. And the trifecta.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's 3 shops.
That's
That's
a lot.
on there, baby. That's a one of a kind.
That's 3 different sweatshops I had to go through.
Yeah.
Those kids worked hard on that.
Let's get back to the game.
Well, no, I'm glad we can sit here and just like, how if we were on Twitter, we'd be like, Nebraska would smash Michigan. It wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
And then vice versa.
I'll say no. We would have smashed it.
Yeah, we probably would have smashed.
I don't know. I know you guys didn't throw the ball, but Charles Woodson,
What would
Marcus
he do?
Ray.
He'd be no factor.
Marcus
He
Ray.
didn't throw the ball.
Glenn Steele,
Aaron Taylor is coming straight through
Dahani
Charles Woodson's.
Jones.
Oh, who are these guys?
Played in the NFL for 10 years, dog.
Oh, come on.
Grant Wistrom
I know.
would have had.
Never heard of
Grant
him.
Wistrom would have
Anthony
had Brian
Thomas,
Greasy
A-Train.
and Tom Brady on the sideline.
Don't matter what your name is.
Don't matter what your name is.
Don't matter what your name is.
Charles Woodson would have loved to say till I got hit in the mouth by the pipelines.
Yeah.
That's a first ballot Hall of Famer now. Come on.
Hey,
I know.
I could bring the wood. He wasn't.
He
Deion.
should have won the
wasn't-
Heisman, though.
Yeah, he did. Win
He
the
should have won the Heisman,
Yeah.
though.
Charles Woodson, Heisman, Schmeisman.
Yeah.
That's what I
Hey,
say.
But Eric Crouch won a Heisman too, so I can go look at his.
He
stats.
shouldn't have won the Heisman either, so.
Hey,
That's
come
fair.
I
on.
drove past Millard North today, and I was like,
Hey.
"Yeah, he should have won the Heisman." I was like, in my head, I was like, "He should have won the Heisman." What are you talking about?
He was a gamer, damn it.
Hey, you know what?
I will defend Eric Crouch.
He strikes a pose. It's fine. It's
Hey.
fine.
But speaking of Charles Woodson, back to the 50-year-olds playing the game, Nebraska would get wrecked in that game. Have you seen Charles Woodson?
Yeah.
I mean, Duke looks like he still plays.
Right, and then
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
And then Tom Brady and Brian Greasy.
Yeah.
But we're getting wrecked.
No, you
But
can't
I
play
think-
Tom. That wouldn't be fair.
We
That's what I said.
We did say on Twitter that you have to start Greasy.
Yeah.
You can't start Brady.
I said he would get hurt.
But
He would get hurt.
you guys talk about what you did to Peyton Manning in '97 after his NFL career, so it's kind of the same thing, right? Like,
Yeah, I get-
you
no.
you give yourselves more credit because Peyton Manning was a top 5 quarterback all time.
Very fair
Peyton Manning
point.
was
But he
also-
couldn't beat
Thank
Florida.
Peyton Manning was also good in college.
Yeah, I know he
Let's
was, but he
not-
couldn't beat Florida. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Prodigy.
Fair.
Prodigy.
I don't see how that's fair because how many snaps did Brady play in '97?
I looked it up.
Probably none. He was like
No, he did play
Hello.
snaps.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he threw like 7 passes in 97.
Well, he was the starter in '98, and then '99 they had Drew Henson, and they were splitting time. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Drew Henson was
Hey,
that
Splitting
guy.
time with Drew Henson.
it's not like
Drew Henson
Brian
was that
Greasy
guy.
was bad. Guys.
No,
he
he
was
set a
very
school
good.
Played in
record.
the NFL.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine,
and he
like,
set a school record. Like
Yeah.
Michigan fans were shitting on him on Twitter, and I was like defending him. I'm like, why do I have to be the Brian Greasy defender here?
Right.
You know-
the guy set a school record in '97 for completions and some other shit. So like, he would be your starting quarterback in
No,
the
he would.
30-year.
He would.
Yes, in the 30-year anniversary, he would be the starting quarterback.
Doesn't mean he
I
can't
wanna-
go down the first play though.
I want to point out
Facts.
you said 98, Brady and Henson were splitting time.
No, I
99?
don't. It was '99, and then Henson was the starter in 2000, and then 2001 he signs with the New York Yankees.
You
He
know,
could- 2001 Michigan. Before my time a little bit, like I was only 6, but like I'm a nerd and I read the history and stuff. If he doesn't go to the MLB and he plays, like he was a Heisman contender, they were a Natty contender. That team was, and then they had to play John Navarre as a true freshman. Maybe a younger guy.
And this is 01, you said?
01.
Well, and
yeah.
this is, of course, the GOAT Miami team with Ed Reed.
True.
blah, blah,
No,
blah,
that's
blah.
fair. Yeah, that team was nasty. But
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at you talk. I don't know. I've talked about it with Michigan fans, right? Like You look at the teams that have won national championships that aren't Georgia, Bama, that just have more talent. It's Clemson with Trevor Lawrence, with Deshaun Watson.
Facts.
Right? Like, you have to have an elite quarterback. So Henson, I'm telling you, Henson, after going to the MLB, still played in the NFL for like 6 years. Like, he was an unbelievable athlete out of Brighton, Michigan, 20 minutes from Ann Arbor, like, stud.
Bo Jackson?
Do you,
Bo Jackson.
think Henson on his resume still has split time with Tom Brady? Like, just as like one of his top lines.
He should.
I would. I don't know what he's up to. I think he does some TV stuff here and there, but I mean, yeah. If you guys, he was so before Michigan won in Columbus last year, he was the last starting quarterback to win in Columbus, and he was unbelievable. Like, you just go watch some highlights. That dude was his arm unbelievable. Like, and he was a stud shortstop. He's a first-round pick in baseball, like monster. So there's a reason. There's a reason they split.
Mick Stoltenberg in the house.
Can you hear us?
The
Mick!
big Mick. He can't
He's
hear
ignoring us.
No.
No, he didn't know we were doing this right now.
Yeah,
but
probably.
You want to talk about a dude hard to move.
yeah, Mick Stoltenberg. Mick Stoltenberg, hard to move.
He is a very stout individual.
I would put that on a resume if somebody said that about me.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard to move or stout individual?
Financial professional, hard to move.
Okay, so we got about 9 minutes left.
Okay. I was just going to say, what's the schedule looking like here?
Yeah, we got about 9 minutes left. Let's get back into the Michigan game.
do it.
What are your keys to success for whatever team you're rooting for? I know we've only got one Michigan fan here.
Yeah.
So Sam, we'll start with you at the end. What are the keys to success for Nebraska?
Defense just has to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, defense has to be the defense they've shown to be. We have to find a way to move the ball through the air. You know, find Billy Kemp in the flat, on a curl route, get the ball to Fedoni, find some balls to Marcus Washington. I mean, we got to complete 15 passes.
Yeah.
We got to complete 15 passes and not throw the ball over.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Michigan needs to play sound, fundamental football. They need to play their gaps correctly. I think this defense is going to get tested with, like you said, I mean, it's tough, though. Like, Michigan tried to implement outside zone early in the season, and it did not go well. So for Nebraska, especially with the new head coach, to implement 6-7 different schemes in the run game, I know it's tough. But for Michigan, I mean, it comes down to the front seven for me on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side, it's that offensive line, and it's J.J. McCarthy protecting the ball, making smart decisions, which he's done all year. He's done his whole career, really. I mean, he's only thrown, I think, 8 picks in his career. So I think Michigan needs to just play their game and, limit the mistakes and stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there.
It's going to be a hot one. It's hot. Be some Miss fans.
I'm going to kind of echo what Sam said. I think, number one, you got to win the turnover battle. Harburg's done a good job about not turning that ball over. And second, this offense has been really one-dimensional. We have relied on the run very, very hard so far this season. You're going to have to get through that air.
Very hard.
If you don't do both of those,
yes,
you're not going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to say the only thing that's going to keep Nebraska in this game is if they can have long, sustained offensive drives. If your defense is going to be out on the field for the majority of the snaps, it is going to be a long second half. First half, maybe not a problem, but second half, they're going to be worn down, and they're just going to beat the hell out of us. So,
yes.
Like Colorado, like we got worn down in the second half.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you're on the field.
It's going to be the same thing. So offense has to have long, sustained drives, and Harburg has to be able to throw the ball. It's windy out here today, so if you can't get that going, it's going to be a long day.
Keys to success: muddy up the game, make it nasty, make it dirty. That's what you have to do. You have to make Michigan uncomfortable, and Nebraska has to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what's going to have to happen to win this game. That's not going to happen. Let's put it that way. Nebraska's not going to win this game.
Bummer.
But if you have a chance, you have a puncher's chance, it's going to be making the game ugly. Just make Michigan uncomfortable. Yeah. And that comes with the crowd doing their job. That comes with the defense doing what they do. And you got to do things you're not used to doing, like forcing turnovers and completing passes down the field, which we haven't done. So
get Bushini to give me more than a 40-yard punt.
Bushini's going to have to play well with this win, too. He's going to have to punt the ball well. Like, we got to play full-blown Iowa football.
Yep.
And remember that time we beat Iowa?
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll do scoring predictions, right?
Scoring predictions. We can go through.
All right. Well,
we got 5 minutes, so get your spiel in, and we'll do scoring predictions and wrap up.
Win the turnover battle. If you are 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, that's not good enough. You forced 2 turnovers, but you turned it over twice yourself. Not good enough. You got to win the turnover battle, probably by 2, in order to even have a chance. Like Mike said, like I've been saying, splash plays, do something that you normally don't do. You know, last year I think of Indiana, they had the block punt for a touchdown, like whoa, and they ended up winning that game. Get a pick six, do something you normally don't do. In terms of muddying the game, Mike would worry me a little bit. I think Harbaugh's a dirty little boy too. He's gonna like it muddy.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think he's gonna have he's gonna be like, and be licking his lips.
Yeah.
I like it. But scoring predictions?
Yeah. Scoring predictions.
All right,
go get it. Still the same. Still the same. Right?
Well, I think Nebraska 14, Michigan 34.
He's got 34-14. I got 24-7 Michigan.
All right. I think this week I said 24-10.
I don't know what you said.
Michigan. Look, we're like 25 games that we've lost straight against ranked opponents. And for 25 games, I've said, hey, anything can happen. It's college football.
Miracle.
And I'm still waiting. So I can't predict a win today.
Nope.
Nah.
I've harped on this defense a lot. We talked about this pre-episode.
We did.
But again, I've seen Michigan has their high point score this season was against a defense that was ranked 118, and they had 35. Coming to this Nebraska defense, I don't see them touching 30. I have this as a 28-17 Michigan win.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna like it. 38-6 Michigan.
38-6 Michigan.
Two Tristan Alvano field goals or
a missed PAT.
You pick your poison.
Oh no, you got to
pick your boys.
You gotta
Three
pick.
safeties. Yeah.
You made your
Your
pick.
parents would elevate and go to heaven if that happened.
Right.
Yes. 2 field goals.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Sam.
7-6 Nebraska. We out Michigan, Michigan.
Oh shit! And he dropped it. And he walked off.
drops the
Oh my
mic.
god, my man.
2005 Pittsburgh.
Baby.
2005 Pittsburgh 7-6.
7-6.
I love that.
I love it.
Okay, now this is where we're going to plug you, Tanner. You are part of the Blue by 90 set of podcasts. Talk about it. Where can people follow you?
Yeah. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Blue by 90. We have a couple shows. I run a show. We have the main podcast. We have a tailgate out in Ann Arbor. So hopefully Nebraska comes to Ann Arbor next year. We have 18 teams in the Big Ten. I don't know when that's going to happen again, but I'd love to get the boys back out there.
Oh, we'll be back.
Mike and Jared had a great time last year. They threw the bones at Taylor Lewan at a very expensive
That was
steakhouse.
awesome.
Good. Taylor deserves it.
We scarred him.
A very dimly lit
eating his
steakhouse.
$100 steak, and these guys are just.
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed. It was like I was with children. But no, we do a tailgate every home game at the big house and have a great time. We have our own beer, Blue by 90 beer.
Yeah.
So if you guys have North Peak Brewing out here, get the Hill IPA. It's incredible. But all socials, Blue by 90. And yeah, just glad to be back in Nebraska, man. I consider Nebraska one of my home states. So
It's like your home almost, right?
Memorial's my home. I'm 1-0 in there, baby.
There you go.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You come back to Nebraska, you make it hot. You make it real hot. Appreciate
93.
that. It sucks. Okay. Go follow us at NBNR Podcast. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We are on all those platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Give us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it.
We got merch.
NBNRpodcast.com. We got hats. We got polos. And hats and polos.
Hey, real quick,
Shout out Evans Custom Apparel.
Shout out
Yes, sir.
Evans Custom Apparel. Real quick, we have a Run the Damn Ball shirt. You guys need a Run the Damn Ball shirt.
We have hats.
Dude, we
Did I
have
say
a
Run the Damn
hat.
Ball? All right, perfect. Yeah,
we
we're
got
one
it
of the
all.
We've done Nebraska. We're not so dissimilar.
No,
We're-
we want to
We're
be
not
what
so
Michigan
different,
is
you and
now.
I.
Yes.
We like it muddy. We like it dirty here, too. You know that.
Yep.
All right, guys. Anything else?
No,
all right, so we're going to invite, so it's going to be Where's the Line fellas coming up, hanging out. I know we're going to have some Big Red Radio guys coming up. And so, yeah, we're going to switch out and we'll sign off here.
Yeah, we're gonna pop away. We'll be back. So just stay tuned for the people that are virtually on here.
I'm one of your hosts.
We don't need to sign off. We're good.
Yeah, we don't have to
Go
sign.
Blue.
We're
Yo.
Here we go. Should we do the intro?
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to WTL, Nebraska's first and only sports betting show.
Yes, sir.
I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
We're back in a big way.
Yes.
It's not just Andy and Jabron. We got Caleb and Zach, Big Red Radio, and then we can't get too far away from NBNR.
Can't.
No, never.
We could never.
No block, no rock.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's in the old scripture, right?
Yeah.
It's the Holy Trinity.
There we
It
go.
is what it is.
That's what this is right here.
Yes.
That's what this is.
Words
what
to
it
live
is.
by. No block, no rock. I couldn't agree more. I think it's like a Nebraska thing.
It's a panel of
Institution.
just big Cornhusker energy right up here. We got No Block, No Rock. We got WTL. We got the guys down there. We are just killing it. And it's just going to – if you guys want to win some money, listen up right now because Connor's about to throw these picks out here and making money today.
All right, yeah. Should we just run down this list? We got that big board.
Got the big board. Give me 1 sec.
Here we go. So we're going to run down a bunch of ranked opponents here. We're going to go down the big games of the day just like we always do. We keep it live. We keep it bouncing. We're going to start with Kyle. Kyle can help us here.
Kyle Byers, not only great on the mic, but great with signs.
Just great with signs.
We'll start with those 11 a.m. kickoffs.
Yeah.
And if we're going to talk USC, Colorado, Jabron, we need to wear the proper attire.
Yeah.
So
We got to get into prime time situation.
Here we go. Hold on.
Love it.
There we go.
Now we're prime.
Is this the way to do it?
Oh, yeah. Looks
You
great.
got to do it.
It looks
You got to
great.
believe to achieve.
Wherever it feels fit,
Wherever
Kyle.
it feels
I mean,
good.
It's all good. It's all good. But real quick here, we got number 8 USC kicking off at 11 a.m. They're going to Boulder, Colorado. They are a 21.5 point favorite. That over-under is inflated at 73.5. It always is when you're talking Colorado. Some folks might be surprised to know Colorado doesn't always cover that over. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. First, Jabron, where are you leaning on this one?
Yeah. Well, first thing that I'm going to say about this is the Colorado Buffaloes have lost their last 2 games against the spread overall, and they have dropped 3 of the last 4 against the spread at Folsom Field. So I just do not believe that they're going to cover this. I believe that USC is going to pretty much blow them out, and I don't think they hit that over. I do not think they get to this over. Going to be a little bit more USC than the Colorado Buffaloes today.
Connor, USC is averaging over 9 yards per play.
Yeah.
How are you looking at this one?
So I have to agree almost entirely with Jabron here. I don't
Yes.
see Colorado missing Travis Hunter, missing Shiloh Sanders this week. That defense is kind of blown apart.
Yeah.
I see USC putting up a lot of points. I don't see that Colorado offense really dealing with this USC secondary that well. I see USC covering and that under both hitting.
I can buy that. Big Red Radio, Caleb, Zach. This line opened up at 27.5. It's been bet down to 21.5. Was the last time I looked. Where are you guys sitting on this?
Yeah, it's just you just got to lean with USC on this one. I think
Yeah.
they run a lot of power. You saw last week, Oregon just ran all over Colorado using that power game. And a lot of people talk about Caleb Williams, but the big X factor in this game is going to be Colorado's D-line versus USC's O-line and the other way around as well. I think USC actually might have a more talented D-line than Oregon did last week. So they're going to get to the Shadur a lot, and it's going to be an ugly game for Colorado.
Shadur, more like Shadone is what we're saying on this one.
That is maybe the worst joke I've ever heard on mic, and I love it.
That's what
I love it. Every bit of it.
Dad jokes for days.
I'm a failing dad joke, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, I'll also go with USC covering the spread here. I think Colorado without Travis Hunter and without Shiloh Sanders is just not the Colorado that we see plays like TCU. And then when we saw him go in and play Oregon, if the O-line can't hold up, it doesn't matter how good Shadur is. If he can't, throw without pressure, then he's not going to play very well.
Let's start down here with you guys. Let's run right back with a couple SEC matchup here.
Yeah,
right?
big time.
We got
Big
Florida.
time.
We got Kentucky. Florida's still ranked at 22nd, but Kentucky, the home team, they're the 1 point favorite. Basically a coin flip, right? 44-point total. I have my thoughts on this. How do you guys see this one measuring up?
Yeah, I really like Florida here. I think Florida's a good team. Going into Tennessee and beating Tennessee is huge. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but one of the picks that I picked on our show this week was the Florida money line.
Yeah.
Versus Kentucky here.
Yeah, I just think I like Kentucky a little bit more. I'm a big fan of Devin Leary. He haven't looked great this year, but I just trust him when it comes down to, it's a pick'em game. You got to look at the quarterback situation. I trust Devin Leary a little bit more than Graham Mertz. I do like what Florida does when they run the ball a lot. If they can handle the game they want to, it's going to get ugly for Kentucky, but I like Kentucky's playmakers a lot in this game.
Connor, I'm just running right down the line here.
So in the previous matchup, I took a favorite and the under, and I'm flipping the script here.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the dog and the over. I'm taking Florida covering that spread. That's that money line, easy money. And I think this is going to go way over that 44.
Yeah, the whole thing is the Wildcats have won 4 straight games. Yes, they're 4-0. Everything's great. Yeah, riding high. They have not faced a team with a winning record yet. Gators come in, they cover, they win outright. Grab that money line for the Florida Gators. It's hidden.
You guys are missing the big picture. Kentucky just legalized the state, legalized sports gambling. The gambling
Let's
gods
go.
are looking down on the Wildcats. They're going to allow them to cover that -1. Also, your best bet is that under. For the last 5 games Florida's played, has smacked that under. Everybody wants to talk about Graham Mertz and his 1,000 yards and Trevor Etienne with what is he got? Over 7 yards per carry?
Yeah.
Not today.
So I have to ask you just said Kentucky just legalized sports gambling.
Yeah.
Is this line a result of those books baiting those Kentucky bettors?
For sure.
And the betting on Kentucky in this game?
It very well could be. And all the bonuses and the boosts. And all
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Go to the swamp.
I see Florida getting this one.
Go to the swamp.
I actually saw a lot of that stuff, but like I said, I'm looking at the gambling god.
Yeah.
Shining down, rewarding the Wildcats here. All right, let's move on down the list here. Let's talk about a Big 12 game, Jabron. We got number 24, Kansas. Then on over to Austin.
Horns down. Horns down.
Austin, Massachusetts. Take on the Longhorns. And the Longhorns are a heavy favorite here. 16.5 was the last line I looked at.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is a legitimate national championship contender right now. They just are. Yeah. I don't have to like it. Nobody has to like it up here. We're all horns down all the way. Obviously, our entire life being from the Big Red State. But the bet here is go with Texas. They're going to blow these guys out. Jayhawks are a joke. The J jokes or the Jayhawks. Kansas shouldn't even be in this game. They shouldn't be ranked. They shouldn't be in the Big 12. They shouldn't be a football team. Stick to basketball. Stick to what you're good at. Horns down, but today Texas covers big time. Probably going to win by 21 points.
Connor?
So I agree with you on the horns down. I do.
Let's go.
I don't agree with the fact that Kansas shouldn't be a football team. Lance Leipold is a fantastic coach. I will give him all the credit that he has earned. However,
Love you, Lance.
Quinn Ewers, and I hate to say this,
Uh-oh.
Quinn Ewers is a dog.
He's a dog.
Quinn Ewers is going to cover that 16.5 point spread.
Okay.
But the unders will hit.
The unders. You're a big under guy today.
I've called 1 over, 1 under.
2 unders.
Well, now I've called 2 unders.
Yeah.
But yeah, the unders
it's
will
not
hit
like
in that
you.
game.
I'm just saying, are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm normally a big overs guy. I don't see Kansas putting up a ton of points against this Texas team.
All right.
I see Texas covering, but the unders are going to hit.
Okay, so that over is currently at 61. Kind of high there, but I think we got 2 good offenses. Love what you said about Ewers. Quinn, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
I hate Texas, but he's a dog. You have to admit it.
And they put up 38 points against Alabama, and then they just scored in 38-34 on Baylor a week ago. So this offense can get it done. And for Kansas, I like the Jayhawks, Lance Leipold, all that stuff.
He's a good coach. Hate him all you want. He's a good coach.
They're 4-0, but they don't cover.
They're not going to cover.
The last 6 games, they've only covered twice. Where are you guys at?
Yeah, I'm actually a graduate from KU.
Oh, my bad.
I am a Jayhawk by degree, but Nebraska fan through and through. But
yeah.
I think KU's got a really good offense. I don't think this Texas defense has been tested yet. I mean, we don't know really what Alabama is completely. And I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. I do like Texas minus 16.5, but I'm also leaning towards the over.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm really high on Texas this year.
Let's go.
I think they definitely are a national championship contender. And the reason I feel like they cover this spread and the under hits is because I feel like Texas is just such an efficient team.
Yeah.
There's no standout players. There's no Heisman's on that team, but there's no holes either. Same with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is a really good quarterback. He's
Yep.
just so efficient.
Yeah, yeah.
Not going to make any mistakes. I think Texas puts up a bunch of points, but I don't think Kansas does, and that's why I think the under hits here.
All righty, like the
Very
under?
good, very
Okay,
good.
Okay, I kind of like the over because I like how Texas can score, and Kansas, when they're playing well, they do score, right? So you can see it the other way there. Let's shift gears into the SEC.
Yeah.
5 o'clock kickoff. Number 13 in the nation, LSU is taking on number 20. They're still ranked. Ole Miss. That game's going to be on ESPN, and we got the Tigers, a road favorite at -2.5.
Yeah, this game is definitely a toss-up. It could go either way here, especially because it's in Ole Miss. I think if it's at LSU, it's a different story. But being at Ole Miss, I still think LSU comes out on top here. I don't know if you.
No sincerity over there.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing? He's on the Tigers. He's on the Tigers. I know he is.
LSU covers the spread. But
Yeah.
I think the over/under is really close. I think the under probably hits. That's pretty high.
Okay.
7.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with LSU on this one. I
Yeah.
just think, honestly, these might be two of the most overrated teams.
For sure. For sure.
I don't like Ole Miss this year. I don't really like LSU. The one time they were tested, they got absolutely bullied by Florida State. So I don't know. I like LSU. It seems like the media is really high on the over. So the thing to do is bet the opposite.
Yeah,
so I
go
think the under's
opposite
gonna
of
hit
that.
this one.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, there we go. All right, you guys, how good is Jackson Dart, the Rebels quarterback here?
Yeah.
You know, he has 7 touchdowns, 2 picks, but he also runs the football fairly well. 3 touchdowns on the ground. The only loss to Alabama, he got sacked 5 times. You can't put that all on him. He has to eat it a little bit here. So that's where I'm looking at. Maybe the Rebels can hang in there. It's at home.
No matter what, Andy, I'm contradicting these guys a little bit, but I am leaning with the over just because both these teams have very high-powered offenses right now and very talented quarterbacks. I just think that 67.5, where it's at right now, the over/under, I'm leaning with that over just because these offenses are very good, and I believe that the Rebels will very much struggle on defense. I think LSU is the steal of the day. 2.5, if you can get it right there, I think that is the one bet of the day that I'm locking in. The Tigers will get this. LSU all day.
I was really hoping you would say that.
Yeah.
I was really hoping.
There we go.
I see Ole Miss not only covering.
Oh, geez.
Boy, they're going to get that money line.
Oh, come on.
They're going to win by a score. Win by 7. Ole Miss. And you were hot on that over, right?
Oh, yeah.
I got to play that under.
Dang.
I don't see it happening today. I have Ole Miss covering that spread and the over on this game. I think it's free money.
You know, they had a really good game against Tulane.
Yeah,
Everyone was high on Tulane. They played really good last year.
The Green Wave.
The Green Wave. Put 37 on Tulane. So that's your path, right?
Yes, sir.
To that over. And we've seen it from Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, shoot 'em up, all that stuff.
Overs
right?
hitting.
Overs hit. I cash that over.
Tigers overs.
All right, should we move on to a 6?
Let's do it.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Trying to get over a hangover and a bunch of bad calls, depending on which broadcast you watch.
Oh, man.
A lot of
I can't
bad
believe
personnel
Notre Dame
decisions.
can get the calls. Oh, no.
Put 11 people on the field and you win the game. Put 11 people on the field and you win the game.
Irish should have won the game. It's on them. It's not on the refs. Irish should have won the game. They didn't.
I will say your odds significantly go up when you play enough players. I will say that. So they're taking on the 17th ranked Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah.
You know, at Chapel in Duke.
Yeah.
But they are a 6-point favorite. DeBron, how you feeling?
I'm going to kind of lean into my Kansas, thing here. Stick to basketball. Stick to basketball, Blue Devils. Notre Dame is a great play here. They're going to blow these guys out. They're going to be a little irked that they did not beat Ohio State. They're going to take it out on the Duke Blue Devils today. Notre Dame's covering, probably overhitting. It's all Notre Dame today. All Notre Dame.
Let's keep it going.
So this game was actually one of my mortal locks of the week.
Let's go.
Mortal lock.
Let's go.
I got Notre Dame at 5.5.
Yeah.
I show this on my sheet at 6.
Yeah.
I'm still rocking with Notre Dame.
No doubt.
That over-under set at 52. Notre Dame is going to punish Duke today.
Punish
I
them.
am out on Duke football. Notre Dame will punish
Let's go.
them. It's an easy. Again, it's free money.
I love when we agree. I love when we agree.
It's great.
everybody's talking about Sam Hartman, the transfer out of Wake Forest, right? And this is his 15th year in college football. He's a 34-year-old, already has over 1,200 yards passing. How do you guys see this one measuring up?
Yeah, this is the easiest bet of the week for sure. I like Notre Dame -6.
That's my guy.
I got him at 5.5. I just think as good as Duke is and as good as Riley Leonard is, and Mike Elko is a great coach, I just don't think they're on par. Notre Dame is a national title contender this year.
They are.
You saw it last week. They competed with Ohio State, who has all the weapons in the world. I think Notre Dame outplayed Ohio State in that game. The final score doesn't portray that, but I don't know. It's easy for me. Notre Dame -6.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I'm also going Notre Dame -6 here. Duke is a good team, but not nearly good enough. Notre Dame is a legit team this year, and I don't care if it's in Duke or wherever it is. Notre Dame definitely covers the spread, and I think they cover it by a lot here.
Okay, does anyone know who Jordan Waters is? The running back for Duke. This is the guy that you guys need to know. He's averaging over 6.5 yards per carry. He's got 7 touchdowns already on the season. And guess what? Last week, he pretty much sat out against UConn because they blew him out of the water. Only had 7 carries for 18 yards, but he also had 2 touchdowns. So he's well rested. I think they're going to lean on that running game. They're going to shorten the game, these new clock rules.
Okay.
Give me the Devils. Give me the Devils. I know you guys are
This guy.
Contrarian.
He
had to be.
Herodias.
No, every year I don't buy into Notre Dame, and every year I get paid off.
Yeah, you're right.
How's that? I mean, it's just a simple thing. I'm just looking at the big picture there. So,
But Andy, not today. You're wrong.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we're all going to agree on the next game, though.
I think so. 6:30 kickoff. I'm going to stay in that window. NBC has the broadcast. Michigan State heading on over to Iowa City to take on the Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes a big favorite here, 12.5, but the total's at 36.5.
Yeah.
I always think it's so bizarre when you see such a big discrepancy over 2 scores, 2-score game there, but the total's under 37.
Yeah, I always bet the opponent of Iowa's spread. I'm undefeated on it right now.
Yeah, let's go.
Except for when they played Western Michigan, which wasn't fair.
Yeah, that's not fair.
They ran it up at the end. But you definitely take the Michigan State spread here.
Let's
you
go.
also hit the under here. This Iowa offense very well could be worse than last year's, and the defense is not as good. And so you're getting the worst of the two worlds. And they had a huge upgrade at quarterback, but it's an Iowa night game, which definitely helps the Hawkeyes here, but definitely not enough.
No, they're a good defense. I don't know if they're as good as they were last year.
Right.
So how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with him. Whenever Iowa's favored by double digits, it's really tough. I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know how it's possible to get worse on offense when you get significantly better at quarterback. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not super high on Michigan State, but I'm never going to be super high on Iowa. So give me Michigan State.
There we go. Connor, I'm going to throw a little stat at you here for both Michigan State and Iowa.
Yes.
They have both smacked the unders for their last 5 games. How are you seeing this one?
So I think there's a lot of discourse about, the turmoil in East Lansing right now. With Mel Tucker being fired, to me, that's not news. Mel Tucker been gone for a couple of weeks.
Can I give you some news?
Yeah, please.
There's 13 players on the Michigan State injury report this week. 11 of the 13 are undisclosed injuries. They just quit. They're like, no, we're not.
They just
playing.
quit.
So it's funny you say that because it really only reaffirms my pick. Iowa will cover the spread. Ooh. They will. And the overs are going to hit. I see Iowa putting up 28 points this game. 28 points from Iowa. We're going to get some out of Michigan State, but it ain't going to be enough. I see Iowa and the overs.
All right.
This is very tough for me to say, Andy. First of all, I want to state Iowa has bad corn.
They do.
That's the first thing I want to say. Terrible corn compared to the Cornhuskers. But no, I do have to lean with the Hawkeyes to cover this spread, even though I don't know if they can score 12 points. If they're going to score 12 points, it's going to be on this Michigan State team.
Yeah.
And man, that over-under is just a tricky one right now, just where it's at.
36.
Because I just don't believe that they can score that many points. I'm going to lean with the under, but I'm going to stay away from it as a better. But I would lean on the under if I had to.
Well, you can stay away from that total, but we're going to stay with you for the next game. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Alabama, Mississippi State. Alabama, huge favorite, over 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
14.5 was the last I saw.
I just expect a slow-paced game here, Andy, and I'm back in the under in this one as well.
46.5.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be a slow-paced game. Alabama's kind of boring right now. Win, 10 national championships in the last 15 years, whatever. I just think everybody's expecting them to be Alabama, and they're not Alabama right now. It's just going to be a slow game, under no matter what. I guess I go with Alabama to cover.
No matter what.
I guess. But under for sure.
All right, Connor, what do you got?
This is a tough one. Like Jared said, Jabron, Alabama right now feels like a team without an identity.
Yeah.
This is not the Alabama we've known for the last 10, 15 years. It's just not. So
Sure.
I struggle with this minus 14.5 line for Alabama. If I were a betting man,
You are.
and I am, I actually like Mississippi State covering that. And I take the under.
Yeah.
Under for sure.
I like it. And you can bet in Nebraska now. There's only one game that's not on the book.
Of course, it's this one, isn't it?
It's in Nebraska.
It's
game.
us.
Oh, yeah, well, that's fair,
This
yeah.
one's on. Just our weird rules. We're coming around, though. How do you guys see this one going down?
Yeah, this was on my slip for the week. I think Alabama covers. You see the difference when Jalen Milroe plays. Yes, he makes some mistakes, but
Yeah.
it seems like the team operates better when he's at
Yeah.
quarterback. He gives him a dual threat ability. He makes some mistakes, but he's got the best game plan for him. So I'm going to take Alabama minus 14.5. I don't like Mississippi State this year.
No.
They're probably the worst team in the SEC West, teetering with that worst team in the SEC. Vanderbilt's still in the SEC, so you got to remember that. But
The big V, yeah.
I like Alabama, but I'm also leaning the under. I don't think Mississippi State scores.
Now, I want to drop my best bet of this game on you guys before I get to last week. The overs have hit 8 of the last 10 games from Mississippi State.
Ooh.
As bad as they are. And Bama, I feel like we put them up there right next to, I don't know, Jesus or something.
Yeah.
And whenever they fall short of that, like, oh, what's going on? And things good. They've hit the overs 4 of the last 5. So I like the over here. I think Lane Kiffin can get that offense going at home. Or not Lane, yeah, Mississippi State, my bad. But I still see these offenses producing here and hitting that over.
Yeah, I agree. Just like you said, like Alabama's still good. Like Alabama's still a very good football team. Just because they're not the best and by far the best doesn't mean they're not good anymore. I definitely think they cover the spread, and I also think the over hits here. That's a pretty low over under for an SEC game. So I think the Alabama spread and the over is the best.
All right, should we open this up here? Get to the game
Of the week.
that everybody's been talking about.
Everybody's been
nationally.
talking about it nationally.
We got Barstool. They've been here overnight. They got a show kicking off here in a little bit. Had to take a backseat to WTL and Rock.
Sorry, Portnoy.
I feel bad for him, but, I'm happy they still showed out.
Hey, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
It is.
We came out that we're going to do this pregame show. Then a few days later, they said they were going to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You're even giving them some free advertising right now.
You are.
There we go. Right there. Let's get you guys' thoughts real quick, and then we'll bring Connor up to give his thoughts.
Yeah.
Start down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this game is going to be a lot of run back and forth. Nebraska's got a really good run defense. They also run the ball a ton. Same thing with Michigan.
Yep.
JJ McCarthy can throw the ball, but when he's pressured, definitely makes mistakes.
Yes.
So I feel like when Nebraska gets to him, they're going to learn that to rely on the run a little more. I think Nebraska covers this spread. I currently actually have my score prediction at 17-14 in favor of Nebraska with an Alvano walk-off field goal.
Ooh, that's my guy.
So as well as the under hitting here.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Nebraska plus 17. I'm not as optimistic as my brother over here, but as much as I want Nebraska to win, I just don't see it, especially because Michigan and Nebraska play the same style of football. I just think at this point Michigan's better at it. So I think Nebraska does cover the spread. I think 24-14 is my final prediction.
Very good. Very good. Well, so you guys are with the Big Red Radio. How can you guys find you?
Yeah, you'll find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Just search Big Red Radio, and we'll show up.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, these are good dudes. They're driving from out of state
That's what I'm
to not
talking
only be at
about.
the award show, to be at today's show. These guys are true gamers. Give them a look.
Thank you.
Go Big Red.
All righty, we're going to shift gears here. We're going to
Yeah.
get a little crazy.
Yeah.
We're going to get a little crazed.
Little corn
A
crazed.
little corn crazed. And I think anybody that's on YouTube
Yeah.
that has a heartbeat and likes Nebraska football knows who we just brought on stage with us here. Connor, Mr. Corncrakes, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Got in last night, had a few drinks early.
Let's go.
Time, and now I'm amped up and energized for the day. So,
and you can have a few more drinks because we got Nebraska Brewing Company in the house.
Like that. I haven't tried it yet, so I'll have to.
Let's go.
There we go. Well, we saved the best for last year. We're talking Michigan, Nebraska. So many things going on here. The guys with the Big Red Radio just talked about how both teams kind of have a similar style of play. What are your initial thoughts? Kind of what you're looking to measuring this one up.
So, on defense, Nebraska's got to be able to stop the pass, right? They haven't been able to do it all year, and they've gotten exploited by teams like Colorado and late against Minnesota. And my fear is if Nebraska can't stop it early, Michigan's going to find a way to get downfield and score a lot of points on it, which obviously is going to make it tough for Nebraska since they aren't a team who can play from behind right now. On offense, Nebraska has to find a way to pass. So everything is about the pass. Can Heinrich find a way to get it done? Heinrich has done it twice now against lower-level, mediocre competition, and now he's going up against one of the best defenses in America, one of the best coaching staffs in America. And the talent level between Nebraska and Michigan is vastly different. Will these receivers find ways to get into the secondary and exploit them downfield? That's the question.
I really like how you measured that up, but I also think that Michigan and their great coaching staff, they're so stubborn. They're going to want to say, we're running the ball, we have to run the ball, we've got to run the ball, and then they're going to be playing right into our strengths. So I think that might be an advantage for Nebraska. Connor, how do you see this?
I see this game. All right, so we've got Michigan minus 17. I hate that line. I hate it.
Yeah.
I see Nebraska covering 17. But I am going to go maybe the most contrarian thing. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. This game's going to hit the overs. It is going to hit the overs. We talk about, Michigan looking at a very solid Nebraska rush defense. They're probably going to air this ball out a little bit more than they normally would. That Nebraska secondary is not, world class by any means. So I see a lot of yards coming there and a decent amount of points coming from it. I see Nebraska covering that 17-point spread, not winning. I have this marked as 28 Michigan, Nebraska 17.
Okay, easy cover.
That's a big cover.
Easy cover, though. Jabron, you want to dive into this one? Get some thoughts?
Yeah, no, I just think Connor's obviously correct on this.
Which Connor?
Both.
There's two of us up here.
The over's going to hit, and it's a safe play here because one of two things are going to happen. Either Nebraska can score some points and we make it relevant or whatever, or Michigan just blows us out of the water and that over's going to sail if they get to 40. So I like the over. It's a safe play. The spread is really scary to me just because we can get into that, get down and we can just give up. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we can make it relevant for a little bit. I think they pull away in the second half, but I do believe that over is going to hit no matter what. I just hope that Huskers are engaged the entire time and make a show.
Well, I've got a question for you. So to get to the over, if Nebraska only scores 7 points, do you think that would still be possible to hit?
Possible, yeah. Likely, maybe not.
My fear is that if Nebraska can only score 7, and I think there is a likelihood that it could go down that way, that Michigan's not going to need to score a lot. They're going to start running the ball more.
Yeah.
They're just going to drain the clock, and then the over.
So that's one thing that I think lends a little bit of credibility to Nebraska here is Michigan's rush defense, while still ranked around that top 25 area, has not really seen a dual threat quarterback yet and hasn't seen a really high-powered offense yet. Not saying we are. But we do have Heinrich Harburg, who, again, last week, had it not been that first touchdown called back, would have had nearly, if not more than, 200 rushing yards. So it kind of keeps those linebackers in check, makes them sure that they have to keep down low. So I think the rush, obviously, if any Nebraska fan is listening right now, I'm not going to shock anybody. The rush is going to be key in this game. But like you said, Connor, this pass game has to come into play in this game. You can't rely solely on the rush against this Michigan team.
Yeah, well, I hope they can find a way.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all want that, yeah.
We're all up here just wishing that Nebraska can come out and play a little bit. We're all on the fence if they can actually do that or not.
No. It's so funny because Nebraska's literally a quarterback away. If Nebraska had a quarterback who we could trust, none of us would be questioning whether they were going to cover or not.
Well, yeah, I'm not questioning it anyway. I think we are covering. I think we're covering in a big way. I mentioned in the opening segment, I think Harbaugh is going to get Harburg.
Let's go.
I really do. And we're talking about ball security, and then
Yeah.
we have a running quarterback, and how this guy hasn't turned it over, and he has 4 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. Everything that Michigan does good lends itself to Nebraska. All Nebraska has to do is do what it does good, and it should be able to keep this one close. And I'm a big believer in all, big picture, all this other stuff. Everything goes back towards the median.
Yeah.
It is time for Nebraska to knock off a top 25
Ooh.
at home. The table is set. Michigan's not even looking at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nate Portnoy's like, make us mediocre. Get out of here. I'm wearing the T-shirt right now. I'm not. It has to happen. Everything goes back towards Nebraska.
Yeah.
One, to your point, Nebraska has, I believe, 22 straight losses against ranked teams.
Yeah.
Eventually, one's got to come. In 2021, we lose to Michigan 32-29. It's different teams. It is a different team. It's different coaching staff, at least for Nebraska. I don't know that this is the game where we're going to get that win, but I think Matt Rule and this team can make a big statement by making this game competitive. And I think that's what we really need to see.
That's the thing. If it's competitive, then we all have belief for next week. And then from there on, the schedule's so mediocre that we're going to be able to get the 6 wins and feel about how this season's gone, right?
Yeah, you're talking about making Nebraska mediocre again. The schedule is mediocre at best. We don't have anybody coming into Lincoln after this that should even, smell us. Like Northwestern, Maryland Terrapins, it's so bad that we're not going to have a good season this year, the outlook or whatever, but it's so bad that we have this schedule this year and we can't get a winning season or a bowl game, because that will be very sad to Husker fans if this doesn't happen.
So what I'm hearing and what I'm kind of feeling here is we all agree on Nebraska covering.
Yes, I would say I agree on that. Here's the thing. I get nervous about saying Nebraska will cover, although I did take them plus 17.5.
Let's go.
I get nervous about it because the main issue that has caused so many losses has been execution.
Yeah.
Nebraska hasn't executed in any of those 22 games properly. And if you can't get players to execute and do their job, we didn't see it with Adrian Martinez 2 years ago, and that's why they lost that game, then Nebraska won't be able to win, because teams like Michigan don't make the mistakes, and teams like Michigan show up and they know that they're going to win and they're confident. Nebraska can't be confident when they know the guys around them aren't going to be able to do their job as effectively as they might.
Now, you mentioned 17.5 is where you got it.
Yep.
I'm going to want to give you a minute here. You also have a gig with Bro Throw. So, sports betting's legalized in Nebraska.
Yeah.
However, there's some stipulations. No mobile betting, and you can't bet on Nebraska home games.
Okay.
But you still can on Bro Throw, right?
Yeah, so Pro Throw's so awesome. So I live in California. California, you cannot bet on sports, right?
No.
I can bet on, Prize Picks, but I'm not doing that. I'm not playing parlays with player props. Okay.
Let's go.
So I got a call from a guy. He was like, hey, we got this great company out in Arkansas. They do peer-to-peer sports betting. And at first I said, no, peer-to-peer, I don't really trust getting my money from another guy. He's like, no. He's like, it's an invite-only deal. And because we vet our people and we run their background, we only let credible bettors onto our site. So I signed up for it. I tried out a couple times. I'm doing $50, $7,500 bets. I get paid every time. Well, now I've been using it for a year. Let's say I put $5,000 in. I've been not paid one time, $50. So all of my fears about the site have been wiped away, and I've been using it now for the year, and it pays even money, and that's kind of the key to it. So you pay plus 100 odds on any straight or total bet, and then on money line, you get better odds you can get on any of the sports bets.
So no vig. No vig
is the name itself, right?
And just brothrow.com or
yeah, so it's brothrow.com/GVR. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for every Nebraska fan who wanted to bet on that site. So Brothrow is BROTHRW.
So if you still want to get your money in on Nebraska legally, head on over to Brothrow, even if you are in the Cornhusker State.
Yeah, plus 100 odds. Can't get better than that anywhere.
There you go. Connor, are you over there? Are you already there?
I live in Iowa now. Yeah, I just bet from my phone whenever I want. That's pretty great.
I don't have that luxury.
But my bank account does not love it. My betting account does. We're doing well so far this year, but my bank account really just.
How'd you do last night?
So I mentioned this earlier. Before I think we were on the episode on NCAA this year, I'm 11-2.
Nice.
And NFL, I'm 5-2.
Oh, you're on a run.
Yeah, I'm on a run this year, baby.
Well, I got cleaned out the last 2 weekends.
Oh no!
But yesterday we started off hot. I went 3-0. I had a big 3-team parlay, so I'm excited for this one. This Nebraska game is going to be key. And then also, you've got Colorado right now playing. There's a lot of good games on today. So
Yeah. Oh, I think Colorado is going to get slaughtered.
Colorado deserves to get slaughtered.
Little spank in there.
That's one of those things, I do my best to not comment on Dion or that team because they frustrate me. I understand, confidence versus cockiness. I feel like they lend on the cocky side. So it was nice to see Oregon just take them to the woodshed last week. I think they're coming into an even tougher USC team this week, and I don't think there is any love lost from USC for this Colorado team. I think they're going to take it to them.
Pretty much every team who plays them is going to want to beat them down because it's a national game every game.
Yeah.
And USC wants to make a statement. They have the firepower. They actually can. Connor, you opened up there talking about the passing game of Michigan, right? And how that might be the differentiating factor against Nebraska. I look at it as if we can get them one-dimensional and make them pass, that might open a Big Ten window. J.J. McCarthy, right? 2 devastating interceptions against TCU in the playoff last year. He already has 3 interceptions this year in low-pressure situations where they're blowing teams out. Michigan's offense is awesome. Don't get me wrong. They have scored over 30 points every game. They haven't allowed over 7 yet to an opponent. But he's still turning the ball over through the air.
The one thing that people aren't talking about is the 3-3-5 defense from last year. And I thought I would see more from people talking about that, as that's going to be a variable here. But because we haven't, I was like, maybe people just don't think that 3-3-5 for Nebraska is as good as the 3-3-5 for TCU last year. And my fear would be that Nebraska's secondary hasn't been in position to make as many turnovers. They've got a couple interceptions. I think Quentin Newsom almost had another one a couple of games ago. But when you're not getting turnovers, are they going to be as effective in that defensive scheme the way TCU was in that playoff game last year?
It's all, for me, it's predicated on getting them into the pass. You've got to stop the run, which Nebraska has done a pretty darn good job. Number 1 in the nation, right?
I don't think any of us are too worried about the run game, right?
Yeah.
So
that's amazing to say, thinking about.
It is amazing to say because every other year we would have been terrified.
This is going to be one thing where, again, I've got hate for this. I am a little bit worried about the run. We look at the rush offenses we faced. I think, obviously, the number 1 rush offense that we faced so far has been Minnesota. We did force them into that passing game. But since then, have we faced a really high-powered rush offense? The answer is no. So Michigan right here is ready to run that ball through. I think we need to make sure that we are stopping that run and force them to put that ball in the air. But, again, Connor, like you said, this Nebraska defense, while I think we're ranked number 23 in the nation right now, we are not forcing turnovers. And that is a key to this game, is win the turnover battle. We got to force them. We got to hold on to the ball. I think with Harburg starting, that's a very good start to this, not turning the ball over.
Depending on which way you look at it, because I actually have a lot of fears because he's starting.
Oh, why is that?
Michigan's got a nasty pass defense, and Nebraska's going to be forced to throw if they're going to win this game.
No doubt.
How much do you trust Harburg in a high-pressure situation to make good decisions with the ball? Now, I do have faith, but at some point they're going to say, hey, you've got to get it out, and you've got to take some risk. And when he does he make a costly mistake? My guess is we see at least one.
My question to that would be, do you trust Jeff Sims or Chubba Purdy to make a better decision?
No, but it's not.
So we end up at Heinrich Harburg.
It's not that I'm on Harburg's ass, right?
I get that.
I'm an advocate for him starting today. However, I have my reservations about whether or not he can continue this streak of being protecting of the ball.
I think we talk about, what did we say? Harburg has 276 passing, 272 rushing, somewhere around there. And we like to talk about Harburg as this dual threat quarterback. With the 2 games that he's started, and his brief intermission in that Colorado game, we don't really know if he can pass that well. Frankly, I don't know that he is the best guy to be putting that ball in the air. But I think I keep referring to Heinrich Harburg as a medium risk, medium reward guy.
Yes, game manager.
And Jeff Sims is incredibly high risk, but incredibly high reward. He has this incredibly high ceiling, but all we've seen so far is the floor. So I think you have to put Harburg in the situation.
Well,
I don't think Sims is the right guy here.
I see Andy cringing at that statement.
I know.
I'm guessing Andy's take is, let me speak for you first, and you're going to tell me if I'm right, just by your facial expression. We haven't seen the high ceiling yet at Nebraska. Is that correct?
Yeah, what's this high ceiling?
We've seen one throw.
Sims. I've seen a couple good ACC games against some little opponents for Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
That is not this stage. What is this high ceiling? Like,
We've been told the ceiling's high. We've been told
he
that.
has this potential. Again, he goes against a Minnesota defense that's pretty stout. Like we're not going to deny that. And for better or for worse, I mean, his decision making for Jeff Sims is not great. Throwing anywhere near Travis Hunter is a mistake. Travis Hunter obviously out for, I think, like another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why that was ever even a consideration. But I do believe Jeff Sims does have a high ceiling, but it's something we talked about in the initial segment. Is there something Jeff Sims can do that Heinrich Haarberg can't?
In theory, yes, because we've seen it before at Georgia Tech. However, like Andy said, we haven't seen it at Nebraska. We haven't seen it against the Big Ten defense, although he's only played one Big Ten defense. And because of that, it makes all of us question it.
And don't sleep on Haarberg. This guy's a phenomenal athlete, a track star, three-sport athlete.
I'm not dogging Haarberg. I'm not dogging Haarberg. I'm just saying.
And so this was a take we had earlier, and I truly believe in this. We were talking about who should start, who shouldn't. Just like we abused Martinez, both of them.
Yeah.
Where we rolled them out there where they're hurt. They weren't 100%. Things were wrong. Turf toe, whatever. Broken jaw. You're setting Sims up for failure if you're rolling him out there hurt. And we don't know the severity to his injury and where he's at, so I don't want to see him out there.
I'll tell you what, last week he didn't look good. He was limping on the sideline.
Yes.
That one play, I was like, why the hell was he even in the game?
Why put him in?
And so here's my other thing is it's not even about rolling Sims out, with even if he's like minor, like he still needs a little bit more recovery. It's not about that. It's about you're going to roll a guy out that isn't totally recovered against Michigan. Why would you even consider that?
Yeah.
Why would you even consider it? It has to be
going to
Haarberg.
come in to hand the ball off.
Yeah. And even then,
I
we
don't
saw
trust
him in that one play.
Even
and he
then, I don't trust him right now. So let's just put Chubba Purdy out there as a safety.
I would like to see, God forbid something happens to Heinrich Haarberg today, I would like to see Chubba Purdy taking that field instead of Jeff Sims.
Don't put that juju out there. For me, it stuck with me, and I can't lose it. Where we had Joel Klatt on national television saying, I don't think Nebraska should go in shotgun because I don't know if the quarterback can receive a snap. And he was right. He wasn't being.
Gus Johnson said the same thing.
Yeah,
Jeff Sims is going to lose them this game. They need to take him out, and they obviously didn't until they were forced to.
I mean, I do a lot of broadcasting, do a lot of high school games, multiple formations, a lot of run, pass option type stuff, and they're operating their offenses with a snap, pistol off, and we couldn't do that. Like, we could not do that in Colorado, in Boulder, on a national stage. So, yeah, you got to make that move. And also, you got to be accountable. Like we heard about accountability. I would have liked to see it a little bit earlier on the road earlier this season. Once again, where I don't feel like Sims, maybe his headspace wasn't right. Don't keep him out there in a bad situation. I feel bad for the guy.
Well, I've got a question for you guys. What's it going to take for Haarberg to earn the starting job? Because right now, as far as we know, he is not the starter. He is in there because Sims is not in. So what will it take? Is a good performance today enough to shore up that spot? Would a win today be the only way he gets the spot?
I don't think a win today is the only way he gets it, but you have to cover. And frankly, I think you got to keep it probably within 10 or 7. Like, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Matt Rule is he just loves Jeff Sims. And I don't hate that he loves his QB1. I don't hate that. But I think it takes, a really big performance from Heinrich Haarberg today to unseat Jeff Sims.
I just think in general, if he has a great game today, doesn't turn the ball over, makes it manageable for us to be in this game, he's the starter right now. I do believe that if he puts out a good performance today and doesn't turn the ball over, I think he's our starter going forward. I think Jeff showed us his colors, and if Haarberg does a good job today, he is the starter going forward.
I'm going to surprise you guys here.
Oh, come on.
I'm a Tom Osborne purist. Love you, Tom.
Well, yeah, he's the damn goat. How do you not?
I love you, Tom.
Everyone's a purist.
I love you, Dad.
He was big. I love Dad. He was big on you don't lose your starting position due to injury. So I do believe Sims, when he's 100% healthy, feels good about moving around, feels good about passing the ball. Give him his seat back and then open him back up. I love competition. That's when Nebraska was its best.
Yeah.
In the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. That's when we were at our best. And we should want that back. We should want Sims and Haarberg to be battling every week to keep that position.
Now,
I'm on board.
You're right. I mean, I completely agree with you. You brought up the 90s. Holy crap. I love it. No, but I'm jumping on here. They told me to come on.
Yeah.
I'm from the No Block No Rock podcast, like this little goober here.
Shout out.
But I think another thing that we can't ignore that they're playing Michigan today. Probably by far the best team that they're going to play all year.
Easily.
And so if Harburg does struggle, I think that is just another factor you got to consider is, well, of course Harburg struggled.
Yeah.
He's playing against Michigan. Like, it's got to be not like a tragedy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, because Jeff Sims versus Colorado, you could argue was like a tragedy.
Yeah.
It hurt to watch.
Everybody was just sad. It was just sad.
Yeah. And so as long as Harburg is like, dare I say, serviceable.
So we're talking about where's the line, right? So what's the handicap? So what's serviceable today? How many picks can he throw? How many mistakes can he make? Because like you said, you've got to give him some leeway. This is Michigan.
Got to give him some leeway. I think one interception is okay. If he fumbles the ball, I'm going to be really upset because that's where we're falling off with Jeff Sims is actually fumbling the ball and ball control.
Unforced errors.
Unforced errors. If he fumbles the ball, people are going to jump on it, say this isn't the way we need to go. If he throws a pick, that's fine because, like you said, we're going to put him in some positions here against Michigan where he's going to have to throw the ball, and he's probably going to have to do it quite a bit. But if he fumbles the ball, doesn't handle the snap great, that is going to be the turning point in the game in his position going forward with Nebraska. Do not fumble the ball. Do not fumble the ball. Then he's going to be okay.
And just to be fair with Jeff Sims, if he plays, like if he throws an interception, I don't think that's an automatic, like you're out.
For sure.
Because that's what quarterbacks do. Okay, they throw interceptions from time to time.
Yes.
Of course, context matters. When you're in Minnesota and you're, 3rd and goal, and you throw that terrible pass.
And a triple coverage.
But, Connor, go.
So my question for you guys is, to answer this Connor's question, I think I'm going to go a little bit more vague, and I say one turnover is serviceable.
Yeah.
But regardless, one turnover, and I can accept it. But my question for you guys is Heinrich Harburg facing a higher standard than Jeff Sims right now as he's trying to gain the starting spot? Are we looking away from the mistakes that Jeff Sims has made and putting a much tighter look on Heinrich Harburg?
But that's what it is. That's what it is. When you're the backup, you have to prove that you're the guy.
Exactly.
Jeff Sims, kind of got handed the starting position, and that's what it is.
I don't want to say handed. That's the wrong word because he earned the starting position in spring and fall camp. And after he earned that, he now has to lose it.
I got you.
Although Matt Rule doesn't feel that he's lost it yet, Harburg has to give Matt Rule a reason to say, well, I'm the guy, which means you need to make up for all that lost time in fall and spring when you underperformed or didn't perform as well as Jeff Sims.
So do you believe right now, again, the last 2 games against Northern Illinois and Louisiana Tech, do you think it's fair or evident that we're seeing Heinrich being really put under a microscope, starting turnovers and stuff like that? Do you see that?
I don't think it's a Heinrich thing. I think it's an offense thing. Yeah. Rule said the offense has been the issue. It hasn't been Jeff Sims. Okay, Matt, and we're going to hold you to that. Let's make sure the entire offense is humming from here on out because for whatever reason, you didn't have it going in those first 2 games, and it cost Nebraska 2 losses that shouldn't have been 2 losses. So now everyone's under a microscope. Anyone who's in their quarterback is going to get the same treatment.
Dude, playing quarterback at Nebraska, doesn't matter who you are, don't do dumb shit.
The standard is too high here.
Yeah, the microscope is on you. The margin for error, especially in 2023, is so low. So if you can play the quarterback that makes the least amount of mistakes,
it's so true.
My bar's low.
Yeah, I was watching Swamp Kings on the plane yesterday. Did you guys watch that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have not.
Jacob.
First off, watch Swamp Kings. All college football fans need to watch it, and Nebraska fans need to watch it. But I'll tell you what, it's going to piss you off if you're a Nebraska fan because it's what your new expectation will be for a coaching staff for a team's mentality. One reason I like Harburg so much in this spot today is because he's a Nebraska homegrown kid. He wants this just as bad as anyone who's at this tailgate. Wants this as anyone who's in those locker rooms, right?
Let's go.
When you get a guy who's got that much passion, that much desire, Tim Tebow-like desire, and I don't know that he has it, but I'm hoping he does, you have a chance because they're going to play their best game of their lives in the biggest moments on the brightest stage. In the Swamp Kings documentary, you saw that. Guys wanted it so damn bad, and that coaching staff expected so much out of them. They were, I think, 5-2 or 7-2, and the coaches were screaming at them on the plane saying, I'm going to make sure guys get kicked off this team. People are complaining about Colorado. Man, go back and look at what Urban Meyer was doing in his program. There's a reason teams like that and coaches like that are winning championships. We've not seen that at Nebraska in a long time, and we won't see Nebraska win until we get that mentality back.
Absolutely love it.
just what you said there. It is set up for this quarterback today. If this guy wants to be a legend in Nebraska, wants to be the starting quarterback at Nebraska, Kearney guy, whatever, from Nebraska, you have the chance right now. Number 2 in the nation, coming into Lincoln. You'll never get a better opportunity.
God!
Let's go! Huskers by 40.
Oh my! Okay, wait, whoa.
Hold on.
Okay,
So-
hold on. Settle down. Settle.
So, Jared
Yes, sir.
has not been
Jabron.
asked this question yet. No, not Jabron. Jared.
Oh, me. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, no shit.
So today for the game,
Yes, sir.
the line is set at Michigan -17.
Yeah.
Do you see the Huskers keeping that game within 17 points?
I think for the majority of the game, they certainly can.
I'm
But
talking final score.
my final score was 34-14.
So no, you don't.
Nah, I haven't seen it yet. I need to see
fair.
it.
He's wrong.
That is a flawed logic. Like,
He's
what do you
wrong.
mean you need to see it before you believe it. All things have to happen. Like 22 losses, right?
Yeah.
It's unprecedented. Things have to go around. Averages always play themselves out.
Yeah.
Today is the day. And I'm telling you, Nebraska doesn't even have to do anything crazy. All they have to do is lean into their strengths, which is Michigan, with what they want to do. All they got, that's just keeping it close.
Just get like 10 first downs.
I'm not even
Just get like
asking-
10 first downs.
I'm not even asking for a win.
Why?
I'm asking for a cover.
Yeah.
Andy.
That's all I'm asking.
Andy,
for.
you said I'm irrational, and you know what I say to you? Yeah, you're right. But
You pegged him.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm not even asking for a win. All I want is a cover. I think a cover against this number 2 Michigan team is in and itself. Jared.
No block, no rock, Jared.
Yeah, he's gonna talk shit to me.
Yeah.
It's a moral victory covering against number 2 Michigan.
Andy, I just think everybody's scared about last year. Michigan, Nebraska last year, the over was sit at 50.5 points. They come in under hit 34-3. They blow us out of the water. I think everybody's scared of that today, and that's the reason everybody's so scared to say what they want to today. We're a different team. We covered this team. Michigan's a different team as they were last year. They like to grind it out. We're covering this for sure. Covering is a lock, especially at 18 points.
All we have to do is what we're good at. Take care of the ball. That's a big if, right?
You have to execute. That's it. Make the tackles, make the catches, make the throws. And Nebraska will keep it within 10 the entire way through and have a chance to win. But the problem is, like we've all said, and the reason we're all hesitant to pick Nebraska is because they haven't been executing for years.
This isn't a 1 year. This is like,
And they're not going to fix
this is
these
decades.
issues from Minnesota and Colorado to today enough that they're going to be able to beat the number 2 team in the country is what we're all thinking and why we're all hesitant.
Now, I know we're trying to kind of sign off and kind of.
Yeah.
Now,
we got
I
about 3 minutes.
have to acknowledge something. Me and Jabron over here. Do you guys smell that? Come on, dude.
Oh, it smells amazing.
Do you smell that?
It smells amazing.
I don't know. What are they making
Bauer
over there?
Tailgate right now. We got catfish, we got ribs,
Oh
we
my
got fried
God.
chicken. We got everything that you could ever want down here at the Bauer Underground Tailgate.
Oh.
They treat us so right down here. It's going to be the best tailgate of the year. We got blue, we got red, we got everybody in here. We don't discriminate. We
That's
don't
right.
discriminate. This is the best tailgate in Lincoln today. Please come out if you want to have a good time. Thank you for bringing that up, Jared.
Hell yeah.
Before we sign off, Jared, this is WTL with NBNR.
Yeah.
But we always have a parlay play.
Let's go.
By the parlay.
Let's go. Let's go.
LeBron, let us have it.
Yeah, okay. So I got a 3-teamer for this weekend. It's just not today. I got NFL teams in this as well. The lock of the day is LSU -2.5. That is the lock of the day. LSU is going to spank them. Then I got the Steelers money line, and then I got the Kansas City Chiefs rolling 9.5. They're winning this week. Winning big. Taylor Swift will be in attendance, I believe. But that is a 3-teamer, putting $25 on it, Annie, to receive $135 back.
Love those odds.
You are pounding away.
I am the parlay pounder.
You're pounding high noons and you're pounding those 3. Okay, I see you.
That's how you get a hashtag.
All right, guys. I mean,
we did it. We did
Listen,
it.
how long has it been? What time did we start today?
10 a.m.
Like 9:53.
Yeah.
Come on.
9:53.
Good job, guys.
Good job,
We
guys.
made it. Listen, it really helps to have this roof over our head.
Oh, it's so nice. Staying out of the
beautiful.
sun. Shout out to Bauer Underground again.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Well,
And Corn Craze for hopping on.
Thank
Yes.
you guys for having me.
Radio.
Perfect.
Dude, thank you for coming on, Connor. And again, great name.
Yeah, I like it that we matched up.
And Big Blue 90. Let's give them a little credit. too.
Yeah.
They came on.
Yeah,
Blue
absolutely.
by 90.
corn
Blue by
crazed.
90.
No block, no rock. Where's the line? Blue by 90. we had 4 different entities converge on this game day, this very hot game day. And it was beautiful. It was smooth,
beautiful.
right?
Love it.
It's a beauty.
Okay. Well, are we signing off here?
Let's do it.
Big Red.
All right. Well, I can just say I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
I'm another one of them, Jabron, the parlay pounder.
Connor Cadillac.
And G. Klassen.
Connor Hayden from Corn Crazed.
And as always, beat Michigan in GBR.
Go Big Red. Great job.
Well,